Joe Biden for whatever reason that may be. Come on up. Tell me in the chat if you want to come debate, and you can tell me why. This person. Let's get this person up here. We had. We'll see if this person has
How's
anything
it going,
interesting
Harry?
to say. Hello.
How's it going, Harry?
It's going good, man. How about yourself?
Doing good.
Good. So you voted for Donald Trump? Is that my understanding?
Yes, I did.
Do you regret it yet?
No, not yet.
Not yet. Even with like all the tariffs and stuff that he announced, like 25% on Canada and Mexico.
No.
Goldman Sachs saying that's going to raise inflation.
I'm not going to regret it. Regardless, because you got to think, we had tariffs back in the day.
What?
We had tariffs back in the day.
Yeah, no, tariffs are not a new
that's
thing. I know that tariffs are not a new thing, but we've never seen tariffs at like that level. Right? You understand what I'm saying? Like there's never been like just all tariffs on everything coming in from Canada and Mexico.
But you got to think, we're not going to be the only ones who have tariffs. I mean, a lot of other countries have tariffs. So, and
yeah, so if a country puts a tariff on us, that hurts us.
What's that?
If a country puts a tariff on us, like these other countries you're talking about have tariffs, I agree they have tariffs. But if another country puts tariffs on us because we put tariffs on them, which is called retaliatory tariffs, then that's bad for us.
I mean, we already pay tariffs, and we pay taxes to ship a package overseas.
No, we don't pay tariffs on everything coming in from Canada or Mexico. We don't put blanket tariff. We don't pay 10%, or we have some tariffs on some goods that come from China, but not everything that comes from China. So all of this is going to make everything more expensive. I was just referencing Goldman Sachs. They think that core inflation is going to go up by at least 1%. And it will raise the proposed tariffs of Donald Trump. First of all, we import 46% of the things that we import in the United States come from China, Canada, or Mexico. So 46% of the products will be affected by these tariffs. It's going to raise like $300 billion a year in revenue, which means that we, the American people, are paying $300 billion in tax. Do you want to do that? Or
But the thing is, this is how Trump is saying it. He wants a lot of companies to merge together. I mean, just like I think it was back in the 70s or 80s, it was. GM merged with another car company, what caused more jobs inside the United States. I mean, we are getting a lot of our resources from overseas instead of looking at ourselves.
Monopolies? Is that what you're asking for?
What's that?
Monopolies. That's what you're asking. You're asking for monopolies. If you're saying like, yeah, let's take these big, huge car companies, have them merge together, just cars, for example. Let's take these big, huge car companies, have them merge together so they control more market share. That's just a monopoly on the market that you're asking for. That's why like some of these mergers, like I think Spirit recently had a merger with JetBlue that was blocked by federal judges because of, antitrust laws.
But regardless, that's why Trump is wanting to do that. He wants more jobs inside of the United States compared to how a lot of the jobs during the Biden and Harris stage, I'm just going to say, because I'm having a brain fart.
That's okay. The administration
administration went overseas because you got to think they want cheaper labor. That way they can get more money out of it at the end of the day.
Oh man. Yeah, that's just, unfortunately, it's not how really these things work. It's also important to note that like there's no evidence that like Biden and Harris like ship jobs overseas. I always like one of my favorite statistics when it comes to Trump and Trump supporters is the fact that Trump outsourced more jobs in his first term than Obama did in his last term. And that's baffling for some Trump supporters. So, and Biden hasn't like outsourced more jobs, or at least the data I've seen has not indicated that more jobs were outsourced under Biden. But certainly tariffs can lead to more job creation in the United States. But when it comes to blanket tariffs, like everything, that's going to have more harm in my view than good. And we won't see like major job creation for quite some time. And then even if there is major job creation, we will still be suffering in the meantime.
I mean, regardless, well, yeah, you're not going to see really job creation because you got to think inflation has been through the roof compared to how it was under Trump. I mean, I'm about to become a first time homeowner, and the mortgage rates, if I remember correctly, are about 8%, as well as the people inside the
President doesn't
United
set those.
States.
Like the interest rates that you're referencing, those are set by the Federal Reserve.
Okay, but I want to finish what I was saying. I let you
Okay.
speak.
Damn.
Let me finish.
Go for it. My apologies.
But damn, I'm having brain fart again. You want to go,
okay.
Bryson?
Sure. So, Harry, this is what I wanted to talk to you about. I wanted to ask you, what do you think that the Trump team has done that is good? Or maybe not even Trump, just the conservative side. Like, what do you view about the conservative side that you think is good?
I don't see anything that's. I mean, like I can tell you things that Trump had happen under his administration that I thought were good, like Operation Warp Speed. I thought was good. First Step Back, I thought was good. You know, things like that, no problem. But in terms of like what Trump is planning to do right now and who Trump is as a person, there's nothing redeeming.
Do you think that what's your favorite thing about what his plans might be?
I don't have anything I like about what he's planning right now.
Is there a little bit of the deregulation that you think might be interesting, or the revealing of information that we think that we might get?
Yeah, no, I don't mind certain deregulation. If he deregulates on like small businesses, you know, I'd have no problem with that. That's something that Kamala Harris was talking about. You know, if they want to kind of cut the red tape, make it easier for them to like file taxes or something like that, yeah, sure, whatever. But so far, he hasn't really talked about that. Or, you know, well, I think the deregulation part is yet to be seen. 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 And things, and that to me, it's a little weird. It's a little weird of a setup, but also like I'm not a fan of like who Donald Trump has said that he wants to be leading it. He's put like Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy in charge of this new agency. Elon Musk has said he wants to cut like 2 to 3 trillion in discretionary spending. The weird thing about that is that cut all of that, which is an impossibility practically. So he just doesn't seem very informed about this stuff. It's not an official government agency. It's kind of like I don't know how that is going to work. I don't know how that's actually going to be efficient, ironically enough. So yeah, but I don't mind like efficiency generally, of course.
Sure.
I mean, I think Doge personally is going to be good. I mean, there was this study that the government is supposed to be funded that they wanted to see if orange fish were more aggressive on vodka or tequila. I wish I was joking on that too.
Yeah, actually, I mean, maybe first of all, what I would always say when you hear something like this is look it up, because there's so much misinformation surrounding these studies and like what the government has funded in this study and that study. But it is the case that we do practice a lot of studies on animals first before humans. So I think there is like genuine interest in whether humans are more aggressive on a certain type of liquor. Because,
No, not humans.
liquor.
I mean, if we're gonna do human experiments, what replicate what's going to happen with humans, we do that on mice, not a sunfish. And
Well, you
why
can do it
would
on.
we
There's
wanna
mice are not
see
just the only
it?
animal that we test on.
I mean, it's really the only one we really do a lot of tests on, because a lot of things what happen with a mouse happens with a human. But why do we care what makes a sunfish?
Because again, we start a lot of these studies, we start on animals first, and then we move toward humans. So I think there is an interest there, just like intuitively. I don't know anything about the study that you're referencing. But intuitively,
Harry.
that sounds to me like something that we would have an interest in understanding further, right?
Harry, I understand that, but they only do it with a mouse. They really do, or monkeys. They really don't do it with a fish.
We
end of the
do
day.
it with a number of animals. I'm sure there was a reason why it was a fish as opposed to like a mouse or something like that.
mean,
but again, I don't know the
was-
actual study, but you know, I trust these people who are scientists and looking at this stuff. You know,
I mean, and then there was the one where we're supporting drag queens.
what?
I mean, yeah.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about, man?
We started
Something that
yapping, bro.
What was that, Bryson?
I said homie started yapping.
I have no idea what this guy's talking about right now.
I mean, if you say I'm yapping, Bryson, it's fine.
I
I mean,
Nice.
I feel the exact same way about Harry over here, especially since he's paid.
Well, what else do you think that the
Great response.
conservative side has done that is beneficial or might be beneficial?
Right. At least going in the future, like there's nothing at least that Donald Trump is proposing that I see being beneficial in the long term. There are things that like Republicans
Why
have
do you
worked with
think
Democrats on in the past that I think are
everything-
beneficial.
Okay, so let me ask you this. I don't understand how an entire that many people can all vote together. Not even vote. The people that are doing it. There's that many people that are just insane. You think?
No, I don't think that people are insane if they vote differently than me.
No,
we just
I'm
have
not
different
talking
views.
about America. I'm talking about the people, that administration. Like, if everything is wrong, isn't that a little crazy?
You mean like, are you talking about people
Every
in Trump's
single thing-
potential administration?
If you truly feel like every single thing that they're doing is wrong,
Yeah.
my question is, wouldn't that be crazy? Wouldn't they be crazy? If
Wouldn't the people
everything-
in his administration be crazy?
I don't know. If you think that everything that they do is wrong and nothing that they do is good, I feel like you should think that that person's crazy.
But who are you when you're saying that person crazy? Like, who are you saying?
the people that are doing, are the people that are at the top of the conservative party, I guess.
Yeah, no, I think that like the people who are leading the Republican Party right now are crazy. Yeah, so like Trump,
Thank you.
JD Vance, all these Vivek Ramaswamy, like Elon Musk. Yeah, I think all these people are crazy. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Does
Why do
everybody
you
have-
say that?
Look at their policies. Look at who they are. Look at what they defend. Look at what they say.
do you
I mean,
think
Happy
that-
to elaborate on any of those things.
I personally think Agenda 47 looks pretty great.
Yeah, I disagree. I don't think there's anything redeemable about Agenda 47 in terms of in practice, right? So Trump will, on his website, he'll write it up to make it sound really nice and attractive, but in practice, it's going to be bad. So, for example, like mass deportations, right? This is something that a lot of the American people have been thinking about in recent years. Mass deportations doesn't do anything. It doesn't solve a problem. It doesn't halt the immigration issue. It certainly doesn't solve the border. It actually only hurts the United States, hurts our economic output, hurts our federal revenue, hurts job creation. Yet Donald Trump wants to do it anyway. So no, I don't think that's good. I don't think that deporting 11 million people, 5% of our workforce in the country, is a good idea.
So that sounds a little bit racist right there.
What? Please elaborate on that one, please. How is opposing mass deportation racist?
He's just saying shit.
Yeah, he's just saying stupid shit. I mean,
Yeah, just move on. Who cares?
yeah. Bryson, do you have anything else you want to talk about? If you anything?
Damn, I was gonna say something. Oh,
Thank you, JW, for the 20 gifted subs, man. I appreciate it.
I was talking about. Do you think that they should get all those people out or get them documented, and you don't want them to come out fast? Do you think they should come out slow of the country?
No, I don't think that we should deport all these undocumented migrants. I think
Well,
that
do
if they
you
haven't
agree that
committed
it's
a crime,
do you agree
What was
that
that?
it's a crime? Do you agree that it's a crime to come here?
it's a misdemeanor to come across the border.
That's-
so, and,
okay.
and
So,
most
yes.
people don't really value misdemeanors all that much. So, is it against the? Let me put it this way: is it against
It's
the
a
law to
misdemeanor?
cross the border undocumented? Yes,
misdemeanor?
it is. Yeah, it's the first time if you cross and it's undocumented, it's a misdemeanor, and it's often not charged. That's why you don't see like courts filled with undocumented migrants who are being charged with the crime of just crossing the border illegally,
Oh yeah,
because it's
there's
not
too
really
many.
worthwhile prosecuting. It kind of
There's too
takes up
many.
more resources.
Right. So don't you have to? So you just let them in? Like what?
No,
What's
no,
the
no. You don't
what's
let
your
them
solution?
in. You don't let them in. So if you like catch somebody that's undocumented to the border, we don't like bring them to a courtroom and prosecute them for trying to
I
cross
know.
or
I
successfully
understand
crossing
that.
undocumented. What we do is like we deport them, and then they're placed on a list of which they can't come back into the United States, or I think it's around 5 years if they try to come in undocumented, and that
So your
gets more
solution
severe
is,
stuff.
well, if we catch them, send them out. But if we don't catch them,
No, no, no.
then
That's not
we
my
leave 'em.
solution. That's not my solution. That's just what we do right now. That's
I'm
what the
asking.
United States does in practice. My solution is that for the overwhelming majority of undocumented migrants are good people. They're just trying to have a better life. A lot of them have overstayed their green cards, overstayed their work visas. They're not like they didn't come in here smuggling anything or committing felonies,
But
whatever it
what if
might
they
be.
did? What if it's not
Um,
an expired visa? It's not an expired. What
Work
else did
permit,
you say?
work
Thank
permit.
you. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
If it's not one of those, and they
Yeah, so
truly
even if
came in
somebody
illegally,
came undocumented, like walked through the border wall in like 2013 or something like that, and they've been here ever since, and now they have a family here, I still would not advocate for them to be
now what if
deported.
they've been committing crimes?
If they've been committing crimes, then yeah, they can be deported. That's fine.
Okay. Any crimes?
No, I mean, like I'd more lean toward like if they got a speeding ticket, for example, then
Sure.
I think that's obviously like that's not a deportable offense in my view.
Now,
But if they committed like a
at what
felony, like if
point?
they attacked
Well,
somebody or killed somebody, then yeah.
okay, perfect. And now, what point between 2013 and 2024? Right. So 2013 they came.
Yeah.
They lived a good life. Whatever. They've been illegal. At what point do we say you need to get documentation? You need to figure it out, or we're just kicking you out. Like
Well, a lot of
you
these people can't obtain documentation because they are undocumented. So they're
Right,
afraid
but
to
what?
actually go through the process. So what I suggest, my solution,
Uh-huh.
is give these folks who are here already a pathway to citizenship, like expedite a citizenship for them so that they can be here legally, and then they get more of the benefits. And then of course they pay more into the federal government. So there's kind of like you give me
No.
something, we give something,
Yeah.
and it helps everybody.
May I ask you the flip side? Do you understand why it's kind of hard to keep making it easier and easier and easier? Because I feel like if you do make it easier for them to become citizens, it's easier for other countries and adversaries to get into our government easier.
No, no. My view, and the view of like Democrats was, first of all, it's not easy to come into the country legally by any stretch of the imagination. It's still not even easy to come in illegally. The borders, I always talk about this, is the most fortified it's ever been in American history. More funding, more agents that serve on the border, et cetera. But the view of Democrats is let's make it easier to come in legally. And like, of course that comes with background checks, security checks and things like that, but harder to come in illegally. So it couldn't be exploited by like bad actors from foreign countries or whatnot.
Right. What was that?
So
saying?
Trump is the opposite of that, by the way.
I
Or
understand
at least
that.
not the opposite. He wants to make it harder to come in illegally, but also harder for it to come in legally, which doesn't make much sense because a steady stream of immigration is good
No, I
for the
think
United States.
No, I think he's
So-
kick all the people that are illegal, period, the end. And then from there, make it easier to get in. Make
Why,
it more
yeah, but then why would we do that? Because these 11 million people, many of them have families here, have kids here, who are, by the way, American citizens because they were born in the United States. Those people are just going to come back to the border and try to cross back in to get to their families. So it makes way more
then
sense
we
to
can
put them
document
on a pathway to
And
citizenship.
I think that's the
and
point.
we can
Then
make
we
it
can
legal.
document them all. Because
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So Democrats support a pathway to citizenship.
You
We've been
said
advocating
earlier
for this for a
there's-
long time. Republicans have blocked policy that included
Harry.
these things.
Harry, you hear me?
No,
Harry.
I can't. Can you speak?
Sorry. Harry, earlier you said that they're too scared to step up. So I think if you say that, hey, if we kick them all out, then they go to the border, then they're going to ask to get back in. Then at that point, we're going to be able to document them. I think that's the point. The problem is they're undocumented. The problem is that they're bad people. The problem is that they're undocumented. It's not, hey, all these people are murderers. They're rapists. They're this, they're that. They're undocumented. We don't know who they are. Period. The end.
No, the point is that if you kick them out and then they come to the border, they won't be able to get documentation. And Donald Trump is not proposing a policy where we kick them out and then if they come back to the border, they can be documented. Because then why would we spend all of that money to kick them out in the first place? There's an estimate that was cited on 60 Minutes that it would cost 88, I think the number was, $1 billion a year to deport 1 million people. So we'd spend like a bunch of money, upwards close to $1 trillion, to deport 11 million people just for them to come back in and try to get documentation. Then let's just put them on a pathway to citizenship now and make it easier. And also, again, what you just cited is not Donald Trump's policy. He's not saying let's kick them out and then give them documentation. He's just saying let's kick them out.
Bro, I mean, I'm not saying Trump's policy. I'm asking you your policy.
So yeah, that's my policy. Don't kick them out. Don't kick them out unless they're a criminal or anything like that. Yes. Give them a pathway to citizenship right now, so that they can become legal and not have to fear of deportation all the time. And then we reform the immigration system to make it harder to come in illegally, easier to come in legally. Expand the amount of Border Patrol agents we have. Expand immigration courts. Rewrite the asylum laws. Things like that makes the system a lot better. Whereas Trump is just saying, "Hey, let's build a wall and kick everybody out, and that should solve it." Which any expert in this field would tell you that's utter crap.
Sure. Can we pivot to the military complex? Can I talk to you about that?
Sure.
What do you feel about all the money being spent and us not knowing where it's going for the military?
Are you talking about like failing audits?
Sure. Yeah. Just a lot of money. I mean, it's well known that a lot of money has been missing.
That would be really bad. Well, we shall see. We shall see. Liv, thanks for the $5. Happy Thanksgiving, Harry. Skip the turkey and let's see how. Yeah, I don't think I can read that. Yeah, Liv, I don't think I can read that one out on live. I don't think I can read that one on live. I appreciate you though, Liv. Kevin, thanks for the $5. You give me hope for the future. Kevin, you give me hope for the future. I hope you know that. Alondra, thanks for the $1. God bless you. Your sneeze. I appreciate you. And Cameron, thanks for the $1 as well. Tariffs aren't the only thing that's going up tonight. Very nice. People are saying Kamala 2028. People are saying Kamala 2028. Interesting. Anyway, if you're MAGA, let me know in the chat. I'll bring you up and you can tell me why you're MAGA. You can tell me why on earth you support Donald Trump. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. Make sure to drop a follow if you haven't already. Double tap the screen. Let's try to get to 200,000 likes or maybe even 300,000 likes. When that bar comes up, fill it all the way. We can definitely go to like 500,000 likes super easy. People are saying, yeah, Kamala 2028. Maybe.
Holy crap.
I don't know. I think there should be like a primary, of course.
Hello, how are you doing?
Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Are you MAGA?
Just a minute here.
Also, if you're MAGA and also want to come up, maybe add another person up. Look at this person. Owens 2028, you freak. Can I invite this person up? Yeah, hello, I can hear you, yeah.
Hi, how are you doing today?
I'm good. Are you MAGA?
Yes, I am.
Okay, why?
Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out how to start this out.
Brother's playing
Let me
Fortnite
ask
in
you
the back, by the
something.
way.
Let me ask you something.
Sure.
Why are you so upset with Trump?
Because he was terrible the first time. He had no policy, nothing good. He passed tax cuts that only helped the wealthy. He mishandled the pandemic. He claimed that the election wasn't fair. He had the January 6th insurrection under him, incited by him, created by him, directed by him. And now he's running for president again. And now I shouldn't say he's running for president. He is going to be the next president again. He's a convicted felon. He's a proven sexual abuser. He's a proven business fraudster. And I can continue, but yeah.
Interesting. Sorry, I'm just trying to figure this thing out because I don't want to be mean or yelling because I hate yelling at people. I'm trying to be calm right now.
Take your time, man. Absolutely.
Okay.
Blue Man, if you also want to jump in, you can at any point, by the way. I don't know if you're there.
Yes, I am here. I didn't know you added me, but I'll be quiet for a second.
Okay. Go ahead, Andy. What were you going to say?
The reason why people voted for Trump is because, in my opinion, they were sick and tired of the previous administration. In my opinion, they were sick and tired of Biden and Kamala Harris, because it's funny, because Kamala Harris said that she was going to take care of the border, and you have debated this on your live so many times. The vice president doesn't have the researchers to do the border.
They don't have the
My
power.
question is,
Yeah.
doesn't have the power. But my question is, if Kamala Harris was the vice president and Biden was the president of the United States, why didn't Kamala Harris call up saying, "Yo, Biden, we need to shut this border ASAP right now"?
So they tried. Biden introduced immigration legislation on day one of his presidency. They also tried to negotiate or tried to get passed a bipartisan immigration bill that was written by Democrats and Republicans. It was the most comprehensive immigration reform that we've seen in a very long time. And it was also bipartisan, which is great. And Donald Trump called up his buddies in Congress and told them to vote against it so he could have, he could benefit from it politically. Because if the issue was solved under Biden, he didn't really have anything to run on. And the Republicans blocked that policy. Donald Trump called them up, tell them, hey, vote against it, and they did. And Donald Trump said, please blame me if that bill fails. So what you're suggesting, that Kamala Harris call up Joe Biden or they work together to get an immigration bill passed, they tried. But the way that our government works, we have branches of government that have to
when people were coming into the border, and Texas was on military lockdown, literally, we were at Eagle Pass and
somebody in the background. What the hell is going on right now? MRI machine. MRI machine. Interesting. Thanks for subscribing. I appreciate you. Do I just wait? What do we think here? What's the judgment call here? Move on. People are saying lag. I don't know if it's lagging. Maybe it is lagging. Blue Man, do you have anything to say right now?
Well, I was waiting for them, but if they are not talking, then yes, I did vote for Trump. I do
why?
support Trump. So some reasons, Operation Warp Speed, I believe that partly saved my mom's life. She had cancer, really bad cancer at the time. So that's one reason, because he did rush to get the vaccine in. People can say that it wasn't fast enough, but it was fastest in the nation at the time. So that is one thing I support. Another thing that I supported was the Chinese tariff on steel. It actually did allow a steel company to actually build a plant that's going to come into fruition in 2026, Nucor. It's a huge steel plant, brings a lot of business to a small economy, but nevertheless, they did not build overseas because of the tariff / corporate tax piece that Trump instilled. And people can say that when he did the corporate tax cut for businesses, it supported only the rich people, which it did not. Our business, so we are a decent, medium-sized business, the business I work in. They actually gave money back to us. They put money back into our pockets, up to the actually free medical for the year, and put bonuses in our pockets for the tax cuts. So I think if you had a decent business that had good ethics, then they did help their employees.
See, that's the key word right there. A decent business with good ethics. You're relying on business, these business people to do the right thing or be moral and want to pass that money down to their workers, which there's no evidence that happened on a widespread scale. There was a little bit of a boost at the beginning, and then it kind of faded out. And it's certainly not happening today, right? Because Trump's tax cuts are still in effect right now as we speak. And we don't see that these big corporate leaders are passing down all the tax cuts that they still receive down to their workers. And so I'm sure there are individual instances. I mean, you have an individual instance of which it helped you, but that's not the case.
Yeah, our healthcare has not continued to rise. I know other people's healthcare has risen. So I know that our business is putting it back towards the people. So
Yeah, I can't speak to
do
your
believe that.
individual business. I don't know your individual
No,
business,
that's
but I'm just
fine. I
talking
mean,
about data
everybody's
across the
different.
board.
But I have a few friends in different sectors of manufacturing. Same thing happened with them as well. So
Yeah,
those are
maybe. I
two
mean,
specific instances that I'd support Trump.
these are all anecdotal, obviously, though, right?
That's your thoughts. I mean, so the warp speed, Operation Warp Speed, is anecdotal.
No. I'm talking about like you talk to your friends and your buddies tell you something, and then
Yeah.
you
I get that.
experience
I
something in
get
your
that. Yeah,
company.
I'm not gonna debate that
Yeah,
with
that's
you.
what I mean is anecdotal. No, Operation Warp Speed, I think, is a good thing. Do I think that like all the credit goes to Donald Trump in terms of how the vaccines got to people? No, I think he certainly gets some credit for Operation Warp Speed just being a thing and accelerating or giving federal funds to these big pharmaceutical companies to develop the vaccine. But Biden, for example, had a goal set before his first 100 days or in his first 100 days to get 100 million people vaccinated. 100 million vaccines in arms, which is a huge task because it includes like distribution and actually getting the vaccines to places where people are. He doubled that. He got 200 million people vaccinated in 100 days. So I have no problem with you being like, yeah, Operation Warp Speed is great. Vaccine development is awesome. But I think you also have to give some credit to President Biden to actually getting these vaccines out to people, which was no easy feat.
Well, and I would say that some of that was already set in motion by Trump because you can't give.
Actually, it's not true. Biden, before he even took office as president-elect, scheduled a purchase of like hundreds of millions of doses of vaccines because that was one of the main problems with distribution. We just didn't have enough to get them out to people. So when Biden came into office, I think the number was around like 2% of people were vaccinated, or like a very small portion of it. It might have been like in the single-digit range. But by the time he got in, as I mentioned, 200 million people vaccinated in 100 days. That's mind-blowing.
That's okay. I'll give some credit there. I'm not going to debate you about that, but he was getting the vaccine in his hands to be able to do that because of Operation Warp Speed. So we could agree on that, right?
Yeah, I actually don't think that Moderna took money from Operation Warp Speed. I think Pfizer did, but Moderna didn't. So again, 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 again,
That he supports American businesses as well. The CHIPS Act was not just Biden, it was actually being developed during Trump's time in 2019. Biden gets credit for it because, okay, it was passed during his time, but no, go look it up. 2019 is when it was starting to be developed as a bill in the House. It was before Biden's time. So I would say that he was a proponent of bringing things back to America. Because one of our reasons that we don't do so well is because China does compete with the United States, and I believe in, global competition, but we took a lot of our business overseas, not just during Biden's term, not during Trump's term, but more so during early on in the 90s to the 2000s when we had the NAFTA and all that going on. But, part of the problem with China is once we develop a technology over in China, guess what? They turn around and then they develop the same plant. Hey, we can make it cheaper, right? Because they have cheap workforce, they have cheap labor, things of that nature. So where I'm getting at with that is, and when you get that, you get bad quality. I just bought faucets from Wayfair, Chinese faucets. They were pretty decorative faucets, right? I've installed the faucets. They leaked 100%. I had 3 of them. So I tried all 3. They all leaked. Saying the quality, the Chinese quality
I don't know what that means.
great.
Like, you're using iPhone right now, right?
Yeah, I'm using iPhone. Why?
Yeah, it was made in China.
Not my iPhone.
Your iPhone was made in China, yeah.
Not this one. It says American made.
Your phone does not say American
You
made.
want to bet me $1,000 I got this in American made iPhone?
I will bet you that you did not get that iPhone, or that you didn't. That phone was not made in the United States. It wasn't manufactured here.
It was because I paid for it to be American made.
You can't. There's no option on Apple's website where you can go pay for it to be American made. What are you talking about?
There's a business, yeah. You can actually do that. You didn't know that?
No, you cannot.
Yeah, you can.
No, you cannot.
Okay, you're crazy then.
Your phone
I'll send
was
you-
made
I'll
in
send
China.
It was not. So you're saying
I don't even know how to respond to this. What company are you referencing that you can buy through that makes sure that your iPhone was made in the United States?
So my iPhone's on generation 4, and it was made in the United States.
A what?
Generation 4.
A Generation 4 iPhone?
iPhone 4? You've never heard of that? It goes
You have an
1, 2,
iPhone
3,
4 right
4.
now.
Yeah, I do.
You do not have an iPhone 4.
Yes, I do.
No, you do not. You wouldn't even be able to download TikTok if you had an iPhone 4. They stopped doing iOS updates for iPhone 4s like 10 years ago.
That's not true.
Yes, it is.
I'm just messing with you.
I was about to say, what the hell are you talking
I'm
about?
messing with your mindset for a minute.
I was
Anyway,
like, what the hell are you talking about?
my wife's over there laughing at me. Anyway, that was kind of fun. So I do believe that we should get things made more in the United States. And Elon Musk is doing that with his businesses, by the way. So the car that he creates, he's making batteries in the US. He's going to go from mining to also manufacturing of batteries. He's right now opening a huge factory in the US. And I know people, they hate Elon, but he actually is trying to make things better for the world. I understand he wants to go to Mars, but he does pretty imaginative things with his mind, and he hits those goals. It takes time, but he's hit them. You may disagree. So I think that the positivity, in my opinion, will be the DOGE if it does go to fruition and they're able to bring some efficiency to the U.S. because there is a lot of lobbying going on. If you don't think that, some of the top Pfizer, Moderna, some of those top guys set up.
Can I just jump in really quickly?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Tesla has factories all over the world. They have a gigafactory in Shanghai.
I know
they produce
just
Model
put
3s and Model Ys.
They just put those in. He's global.
They just put what?
He put those in within the last 4 or 5 years, I think. Global.
Yeah, I'm just telling you, they have one in China. They have one in Germany.
I understand.
Lathrop. I mean, they have a bunch of factories all over the world.
But they also have one in the United States where people
No, they have multiple factories in the United States. They have one in Texas. They have one in New York. They have one in Nevada. They have one in California. But the point is that like Elon Musk is still making things abroad. And that's not even the point of all of this. I agree that we should be making things in the United States. I have no problem with that. That's why, the CHIPS Act is great. Now you say, oh, this CHIPS Act was in development in the House. It doesn't matter. I mean, there could have been a congressman who's like, yeah, let's make chips here in the United States. It doesn't mean that somehow that credit is toward Donald Trump or anybody other than like Joe Biden and the Congress that worked on it. There are plenty of policies that are introduced well before its time that sign into law that you still wouldn't say like, oh yeah, it's that person's doing, right? So Biden, and also of course the
but he started to see.
Obviously the two laws are different. The two laws are different, but Biden is the one who actually got it done. He's the guy that actually signed into law. He got the Congress to work on it and vote on it, and he is the one that signed into law. And right now, because of President Biden and the Congress that he worked with, that law is in place, and we are now making chips in the United States. We'll count for more chips, as years go on.
Can I put something in there? So actually, Trump started that before COVID was really bad, and that's before
he did not start it. He was introduced by this Chips for America Act, which don't even know if it has any similarities. It just has the word chips in it, which obviously doesn't make it the same. Was introduced by Representative Michael McCall. It was not put forward by the Trump administration or anything like that.
It was during Trump's administration's time. Yes.
So just out of curiosity, like if somebody introduces a bill under Joe Biden's presidency and that bill is like objectively good and then that bill is signed into law under Donald Trump, would you give Joe Biden credit for that?
Yeah, Joe Biden would get some credit for that. Yes.
Why would that make any sense? Like just because a congressperson introduces a bill under a president doesn't mean that president is responsible or gets any credit for that congressperson introducing that bill.
So things take time. They don't happen overnight, especially with the branches of government that we have.
Sure.
I guess I'm trying to say is there was some mindset knowing that, hey, we need to do something about our chips. And when COVID happened, right, we had a very terrible time all over the place trying to get chips because they were made overseas. And that's the problem, trying to get supply and demand to the United States. There was parts we were waiting on for like 2 years because they couldn't
No.
get a chip.
Yes, I totally agree. That would have been really nice to have the Chips and Science Act in law during the pandemic and having more chips being made in the United States. But my point to you is that just because a congressperson introduces a bill under a president doesn't mean that that president gets any credit whatsoever for that bill eventually passing. That is just a congressperson. If you want to give like the credit to the congressperson for getting the ball rolling, sure, maybe. But you certainly don't just give credit to Donald Trump for a bill that happened to be introduced under his presidency. That's crazy.
He had something to do with it. I'd have to get the source.
He did not.
I don't see the computer in front of me as
Congress.gov right now.
Sorry. Yeah, I know. You got to do the research as I'm on the phone. I do have a source, but you got to give me a second.
Okay.
I'll grab the other phone that I got since I have to do this.
Sure. Yeah. His other iPhone 4. Yeah, it's funny.
Well, actually, I'm going to use my iPhone 1 to look it up. It's taking a second.
Yeah.
So.
Brian, thanks for the $10, man. How do you bring minerals and things like lumber to the United States with tariffs? They haven't thought about that yet. Tyler, thanks for the $1. 2 men doing one person's job to maximize government efficiency. Yeah, that too.
That's why we have a lot of wood in the U.S. We don't actually utilize. There are matured forests.
Well, I don't think that's a good idea. A lot of our forest is protected in the United States as well. Megan.
So it's okay to cut somebody else's forest?
No. I'm not saying that like
because we're pompous and we get to do that.
No, but some trees don't grow in the United States.
Well, thank you for saying that. Bamboo can grow in my climate. It can grow in Florida. So why aren't we growing bamboo? It's a good wood.
I don't know. You can grow bamboo if you'd like. Go grow some bamboo if you want.
Say that 5 times fast.
Yeah, that's impossibility. Unnamed individual. Working with ICE, Venezuela is not Trump's concern. I had someone from Venezuela with an order to deport. They said, due to ICE priorities, we will not be taking. They are ramping up for other issues, not just people from Venezuela. It just proves it was a ploy to get votes. There you go. Unidentified individual. I appreciate you. Ali, thanks for the $1. I hope you know that you've caused the word golly to be part of my daily vocabulary. This is not good. Love keep doing what you're doing. Have a good Thanksgiving. You too. Have a good Thanksgiving. I'm glad. I'm glad it's catching on. It's a good word. Anyway, sorry. I'm just thanking people while we wait.
That's all right.
God love you. That one is another good one. Yeah. Venmo Cash App in the link in the bio while we wait. Venmo Cash App link in bio. Also drop a follow if you haven't already. Double tap the screen. Let's try to get to 400,000 likes. Fill up that bar once, twice, maybe 3 times. But we can definitely get to 400,000 likes if you fill up that bar, 4 times.
Okay, so he was into the chips back in 2017. So he was blocking what I read was the Chinese from actually taking over by executive action, by taking over U.S. owned firms to get a venture from China. So that's where I guess I got it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's different though, right? Because one's a policy.
But the thing is he was protecting the chips. He already knew that it was important, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem with protecting chips. That's no problem. But we're talking about a policy that was passed through Congress, right? So
that's something that he did as an executive action. It's not a policy, but it's an executive action that he took. That was
I understand. But we're just to be clear, we're talking about 2 different things, right? The Chips and Science Act was to give incentives and to boost production of the chips in the United States, right?
So another thing that happened,
but that executive action you're talking about is not that.
During Trump, the economy was booming until COVID hit. The economy fell down. Trump did enact to give people that was losing jobs because people needed to stay home. If he didn't do that, if he didn't mandate some of that, there would have been a lot of people on the other side very mad because if they had got COVID, right? Because COVID could be pretty deadly for some people. It affected a lot of the people I knew. So I think that was a positive thing that there was a mandate for that. Some people might have said that was a little too late, but
wait, you're talking about the stimulus checks?
No, I'm talking about mandate for people to stay home, stay away. More people died under Biden with COVID than they did Trump.
It's because Biden experienced more of COVID.
Well, he also had a vaccine, and Trump had to actually fight it without a vaccine in the early stages before the vaccine existed.
Yeah, I mean, we had the vaccine under Biden. Biden can't force people to take the vaccine, though. So he could have a vaccine if nobody takes it and people die. That's not
there
on
was
him,
a lot
right?
of businesses forcing people to take the vaccine. So
And that's within their right. That's not mandated by the government.
So, I mean, whatever the government did at the time, they did lead and people chose to follow or not follow. And there was a lot of businesses that followed that mandate, to be honest.
Yeah, there's no mandate that was established by the federal government that businesses had to follow. There was no law from the government saying that
I'm not
businesses
saying
had to
there
have
was
a vaccine.
a mandate. I'm saying they looked at the leadership. I guess I did not use good
They're private
words. What I meant to say was they followed what the government had said basically to do.
I mean, they're private companies. They were not directed to do anything. These are private companies making decisions that they thought were best for their workplaces. And what do you know? Workers not getting COVID, or at least not dying from COVID, is good for businesses.
Understood. I mean, I don't understand your point there. Okay, so people
You're saying
the
businesses follow the leadership of the government. I'm saying that the businesses didn't follow the leadership of the government because there was no directive from the government toward private businesses. These are private businesses that made decisions that are best for them and their business.
The government
and what is good for a lot of businesses is their employees
down.
not dying and not going to the hospital with COVID.
There was mandates for businesses to shut down. Don't you remember that?
There were not mandates. The government did not force businesses to shut down. The federal government did not do that.
Okay.
Again, also, this was under Donald Trump. So are you saying that Donald Trump forced businesses to shut down?
It was guidance. I guess not shut down, but not to go into work. I guess a lot of people didn't work at that time, which I had to work because I was a manufacturing plant worker. So I was there the whole time.
You understood. You were a critical worker at the time. So anyway, wasn't mandated by the federal government. Not true. States did. Some states took certain actions with this stuff. Some certain cities, like New York City, had their own regulation. But in terms of federal government, in terms of Joe Biden, wrong.
Okay, my bad.
No,
I won't.
It's all good. No problem. So,
a little fuzzy.
Anything else other than that,
It's a
though?
little fuzzy in my head because I had a mom that had cancer at the time, and I was trying to take care of her and have to worry about not getting COVID at the time, right?
That's noble work. It's noble work, and I'm sorry to hear that, truly.
So those 4 years were a blur, and I just know that there was businesses that a lot of the workers didn't go in because of that reasoning. My dad actually, he quit his job because he was taking care of my mom as well. So anyway, so sorry, I got off topic.
No, it's no problem at all. It's no problem at all.
So I just don't feel like the Biden administration was doing much of anything, to be honest. There was some good things, there was some bad things, but I guess I don't see going 2 trillion more in deficit every year is going to help the United States.
Well, Trump actually has more spending, or had more spending, than Joe Biden. And if you look at over a 10-year period of borrowing, Donald Trump has almost double the amount of borrowing that Joe Biden does. So if you take an issue with spending, you should take it up with Donald Trump, especially now since he wants to impose tariffs and reduce taxes on Social Security over time. He's even flirted with just getting rid of income taxes generally, which you want to talk about exploding the deficit. I mean, my God, look at that. Again, your whole I don't think the Joe Biden administration did anything wrong. We had the American Rescue Plan, which invested in small businesses, invested in distributing vaccines, investing in veterans, investing in reopening schools. That was a huge bill and policy in getting the economy back on track. Not done yet. We had the bipartisan infrastructure bill, which invested over $1 trillion in America's infrastructure, new roads and bridges, removing lead pipes, weatherizing our electrical grids, building electric vehicle chargers all over the country, and more. We also had the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act, the first piece of major gun legislation in 30 years. Gun regulation that Democrats and Republicans voted for included expansion of red flag laws, giving money to states so they can do this, expanding background checks, and more. Those background checks have actually been really effective, fun fact. We had the Chips and Science Act, as we mentioned. Don't have to explain that one. We had the PACT Act, which was a largest expansion of veterans' healthcare in God knows how long. It expanded healthcare to veterans who were exposed to toxic burn pits abroad. When American soldiers just dig big holes, throw their stuff in there, light it on fire to get rid of the waste, they would breathe in those toxins and come back with disease in the brain, in the lungs, whatever it might be. And previously, they were denied that care, but because of the PACT Act, they're now getting the care that they deserve, the care that they need, and now 1.2 million people have signed up for the PACT Act. And there's plenty of other things the Biden administration did, like the Inflation Reduction Act, like restarting the Cancer Moonshot program, which might hit home for you with your mother, which, in her cancer diagnosis. But there are a lot of things that the Biden administration has done.
What did it do cancer diagnosis-wise? I guess I didn't, because she didn't... So what are you saying with the cancer?
The Biden administration restarted the Cancer Moonshot program, which was a program that actually ended, I believe, under Donald Trump, but they restarted it. And this program gives money to states and different organizations to expand access to therapeutics so screenings can happen earlier. One of the main reasons that cancer kills is that it's caught too late. If you catch it early, we have a lot of... I mean, you know this by now.
So anyway, my mom, I don't think any of that helped her per se. It was... or would have helped her at the time because it didn't exist, I guess. They caught it early because she was following a regimented schedule to be checked at the frequency that a lady should be checked.
Good.
So that's the only way that it was caught, right? So anyway, so when you said...
but just the point is that for like lower income people, they don't have access to getting these checks as regularly as other people do. Like uninsured people don't have access to getting these checks as regularly as other people do. So the point of like the Cancer Moonshot program is not only to invest in like cancer research, but also to expand access to therapeutics to people who don't have health insurance or don't have access to good health insurance or whatever it might be.
That's a good thing. I'm not going to complain about that.
So all those things happened under Joe Biden. All those things. Okay, and I didn't even mention all the policy he passed.
So I do got to say something about, you talked about the infrastructure. You talked about a lot of things, and I can't remember everything you talked about because I was trying to make points, but you sped through it basically.
I had to.
Why did you have to?
Because I feel like I wouldn't be able to talk about everything without getting interrupted, to be honest.
No, I listened to you. I guess there's a few things that I kind of disagree with. So I think he inflated the economy somewhat.
How did Joe Biden do that? How did he inflate the economy? Are you talking about inflation?
Americans, yeah, the Inflation Act that basically, when he was pouring money out first for COVID, right? I know Donald started it, right? But then Biden continued on, which it should have stopped at some point because we inflated it even more. You put more money into the economy, what's going to happen?
Both of Donald Trump's stimulus packages combined cost more than Joe Biden's American Rescue Plan.
Yeah, and at the time, if your
argument is that
the money, I guess.
If your argument is that, well, yeah, but people under Joe Biden needed money as well. Right? So that's why the American Rescue Plan was passed. It wasn't just because like, hey, we just want to we want to give a bunch of people just money that they don't need.
Sucked under Biden, by the way. It's somewhere in the neighborhood of, I don't know, maybe averaged out to be about 20-some% over those 4 years.
What? No, the inflation rate right now is 2.4%.
1 year. Let's see, about 4 to 7 another year, another 4, and then 2. So it's somewhere high. And I think
the average of those numbers are not 20.
I'm not doing the average. I'm just adding them up is what I'm saying. So
that's
over
not how
time,
inflation works.
It doesn't. Well, I know how inflation works, buddy. I do it every day.
I know you can't just add up.
You do a CPI inflator. Yeah, but once you hit an inflation number and you compare it to the last year and you say, well, it's only 2% compared to what it was last year. Well, okay, 2% of the 7% for the previous year. So do you?
No, I'm aware. But you were just saying it was 20% on average, which was not the case.
Things are like double. Like my energy bill, it's double. So what Biden should have done? Just hear me out. You had a lot to say. The infrastructure bill should have done more for the electrical grid. You talked about charging car stations. Why do we need charging car stations when they threw a shit ton of money to GM, Ford, and nobody's buying the damn vehicles? They're like 100,000, 70,000. You going out buying an electric? Do you have an electric vehicle?
I don't
Answer
have a
me.
car at all.
Okay, you don't have a car. Okay.
Yeah.
So how many people you know have an electric vehicle that's benefiting from those electric charging stations across the U.S.? I don't know anybody around me that has an electric car, except for maybe doctors
I
have
know
Teslas.
some people that have electric cars. I don't know, man. I just know
The
people that have
majority.
electric cars.
So is people really benefiting from, oh, I put electrical charging stations around the country?
So
What
the
about
goal is like to make
broadband?
these investments because
Wait a minute. What about broadband internet? You talked about infrastructure.
that's part of the bill.
If it was
Part of the
so
bill.
fucking good,
It's part of the
why
bill.
didn't I get it in the rural place that I live? I had to go to
Part of the bill.
Starlink because I didn't get any. Because guess what?
So that's part of the
A lot
bill.
of that funding did not go out to people. It actually got corrupted.
So that's part of the bill.
Yeah, and it
So
didn't
that
work.
the expansion of broadband access
all
is part of the
that- all
bill.
that didn't
It's
work.
also a 10-year bill. So a lot of these investments haven't been placed yet, right? A lot of these investments haven't gone through. A lot of this construction hasn't
a lot
started.
of them have,
So
but they invested.
a lot of them
into
have, but a lot of them haven't.
small
It's a 10-year
businesses
bill.
that don't know what they're doing.
It's not it's not any of that. It's not that these businesses don't know what they're doing. It's a 10-year bill. A lot of this stuff has not happened yet. A lot of these investments have not been made yet, and a lot of the construction hasn't started yet. So while we have tens of thousands of active
They've
infrastructure
spent a
projects
ton of
as a
money.
result of this bill, we are still making these investments, and they continue to the end of the decade. Just like with the electric vehicle chargers, the construction of these chargers are going to continue until the end of the decade because of this bill. So there is expanded Wi-Fi access as part of the bill. There is expanded broadband access. There should be more broadband access, but it's being worked on right now as we speak. Electric vehicle chargers are being built because the future of transportation is electric vehicles. Whether you like it or not, that's the way that the market is moving. It's not linear. It's not just going to continue to go up every year. It's going to be ups and downs in this market. That's very new to people. And it's like you have to inform people about the benefits of electric vehicles and like why they should have one. And the laws are still
Do
being
you
passed
think we
around,
have
so
the
it's still very new.
infrastructure,
Hold on, I'm not done yet. I'm not done
infrastructure
yet.
for that?
Hold on, I'm not done yet. So this is still happening. And the idea that like this infrastructure bill also, you said something about the Inflation Reduction Act that it like exploded inflation. That's just utter nonsense. There's nothing inflationary as part of that bill. It's also another 10-year bill that actually had parts of it that actually reduced costs for people specifically regarding healthcare. So anyway, hopefully I address everything you mentioned.
Yeah, but so there has been billions already spent on the internet. And I know that it exists out where I live because they got investments from the government. And this small business tried to start up another small business in another hometown, another small business. All of that stuff, the way they put the stuff together, the infrastructure of it sucked. So where is the advice for the funding as they put the funding out so it's not wasted and actually people get it? Because there are people in my community that went to that and it doesn't work. And so they had to go to the Starlink internet. That's all I'm saying. Because
I don't know about your specific community. All I'm telling you is what I can't, like you talk about your buddy who apparently saw this or whatever. I don't know what to tell you about your buddy who apparently saw this, but what I do know is like what I can tell you is what's in the bill, and that's in the bill. And a lot of people are benefiting from this stuff. A lot of people are benefiting from expanded broadband access.
Okay.
The idea that like just because the government did it means it's bad is
how many people
crazy.
are benefiting from it compared to
was that?
Starlink. You look at Starlink compared to the broadband internet, and I would say that there's more Starlink rural users than there are people that are going to be benefiting from a wasted infrastructure broadband bill that never.
So, okay, wait, what? You were just complaining about why the federal government didn't invest in broadband access. And I told you that the government actually did invest in broadband access with this bill. And now you're against the broadband being invested in. It almost just seems like you're just biased against Democrats, that if the Democrats do something, you're automatically against it.
That's not true. That's not true. I'm just giving you facts. Here's another thing.
I understand, but let's just, well, you're not actually giving me any facts. You're just like giving an opinion, which is Starlink is good.
not an
I don't
opinion.
disagree with Starlink, by the way. I think Starlink is great. It can be utilized in like, we just saw it utilized in North Carolina during the hurricanes, right? So a lot of people use Starlink. But I just want to go through the series of events which just happened. You were mad that the infrastructure bill didn't include expanded access to broadband. I informed you that it did, and now you're complaining about the expanded access to broadband. It seems
No, I
like
said that the way that in which you told me it's going to be 10 years, but I said I can already see, and I've heard a lot. I've also researched a lot, and the statistics is a lot of the money's been wasted in broadband. They don't know what they're doing. Basically, they give it to
I don't
these
know
little
what research you're
product
citing with that.
companies. Okay, well, so who's out there doing the broadband? Is it a federal government or is it small businesses? And some of these small businesses don't know how to set it up correctly. Is what I'm trying to tell you.
I trust in small business. So it's small businesses, but I trust in a lot of these small businesses to do the job well. I mean, they are Americans who have, dedicated their lives to this stuff. So I trust a lot of these people to do their job well, and they are doing it well.
That is your opinion. So, okay,
Sure,
so
it is
why
my
didn't
opinion,
why
sure.
why didn't Biden? Here's another question. So why aren't we? There's a few things that I wonder why Biden's not concerned about certain things. So such as China going and buying out certain countries to take away the dollar and give their Chinese currency to them to then and help inflate the dollar. So some of that's been going on, and I think Sleepy Joe's been sleeping too much. That's the problem. He's been sleeping way too much.
I find it funny how you just like called him sleepy when I just listed off a bunch of legislation that he passed, and you yourself admitted that you couldn't remember everything I just said. So if Biden was so sleepy, how could he be passing so much legislation that when it's recited to you, you couldn't even recall it?
He's sleepy and he's doing a bad job about it. So let me talk.
So that doesn't answer my question,
So
right? So if I'm listing
infrastructure.
a bunch of legislation that Biden has gotten passed, and you're saying I can't remember everything you just said, maybe it's a problem. Maybe you're just not paying attention
some
enough.
of it's wasteful spending. Look at Ford. Look at GM. They're having to do away with some of the electrical.
They are not doing
cars.
away with any of that.
Yeah, they are. They're closing
They are
a
not.
plant in Florida. I meant to say Michigan. Yes, they were.
They are not.
Yes.
These programs through Ford and GM are not going away.
There's people all over not even buying the Lightning. You know why? Because it's too expensive.
A lot of your average electric vehicle has come down dramatically in cost in recent years as more entering the market.
What
and
is
as
the
it'll
light?
continue to
Tell
go
me
down
the
as well as
price
more and
of
more
the
continue
Ford
to enter the
Lightning.
market. But it's also just like you complain about electric vehicles being expensive, and then you don't want to invest in electric vehicles, which would bring down market cost. So it's like
No, I
you're
would
contradicting
buy
yourself.
Elon Musk's,
But again, my point stands
Tesla.
that I listed so much legislation. You call Biden sleepy, but you can't remember everything that he just did, which I don't know how he could be sleepy and you don't remember what he did. But sure.
So anyway, okay. So why didn't he invest in more fusion? You can say that he did, and that's fine, but he didn't invest enough. And so China is right now ahead of us in that technology. Shouldn't we be the world leader of fusion? So he's not really looking out for our best interest. The other thing is why are we?
I can't even
Why are
believe
we
what I'm
sending
hearing.
billions of dollars to Ukraine?
Oh,
And you will
one of my favorite topics.
Just let me
favorite
talk about
topics.
this for just a second. Okay. So he's sending all these dollars to Ukraine, saying, "Oh, you just go fight that war. We'll pat your back. Like, here's some money. We don't care if all your soldiers die. 600,000 people die, but that's okay. You and Russia
What?
just have it out. We'll be back here. Now, hey, use that missile now so that you can escalate the war even more, right?" And I know, okay, obviously, Vladimir is going to be taunting the U.S., and we've got heavy nuclear missiles, so he's not going to be stupid to hit the button. Maybe he will be. Who knows? He's got Kim Jong-un now in his corner, right? Like he's had. But all I'm saying is we've done nothing but cause that war to go on and on and on and cause people to die. So what else should we have done to stop that is my question. Because, hey, by the way, the sanctions, did you just see where they've been taking the bombs apart? North Korea's been sending new bombs over there. And when they go to the chip, guess what kind of chip that is? That's an American chip. So China's
Where are you getting this from? What are you talking about?
Where am I getting it from? The news.
Yeah. Okay,
Read the
where in the
news.
news? Where in the news?
I look at CNN. I look at all
So
kinds of
you're
news
saying that
sources.
North Korean
Reuters.
weapons have American chips?
North Korean weapons have the American chips in them, yes, because China's smuggling into North Korea. Are you? That's what people are like blind. They don't even see what's going on in the world. China's out there taking over the world right now, and we're just sitting back because you think inflation's bad now. Once they go with BRICS,
So, all right, are you still talking? Can I have please interject in all this?
well, yeah, you can. You can.
Okay,
go
thank
ahead.
God. All right, so when you say invest in fusion, what are you talking about? Are you talking about nuclear fusion?
I'm not talking about nuclear fusion. I'm talking
So when
about.
you're saying when Biden didn't invest in fusion, what fusion are you talking about? Please elaborate.
I'm talking about for electrical energy fusion.
I don't know. I'm not
Splitting
familiar
the-
with what that is. I don't know.
Okay, so look it up. I'm not going to teach you on
Electric.
this
You're
slide.
saying electric fusion?
No, I'm saying fusion for electrical uses. It's an endless supply of energy.
Fusion for electric uses?
Jeez.
Yes, this is nuclear fusion. So I don't think you know what fusion is either. I don't know what you were talking about. This is nuclear fusion. Fusion for electric uses refers to the concept of harnessing the energy released from the nuclear fusion reactions to generate electricity.
Yes,
So we are
nuclear
actually
fusion.
there's a number of states that are investing in nuclear.
Yeah, but it wasn't.
So anyway, I was just
because of
confused.
Biden,
I was
but he should
confused by
be
what you meant by
putting
that.
more
And by
money.
the way, I also find it funny how you were like, yeah, why isn't Biden investing in fusion? He clearly doesn't have our best interest. You don't even know what fusion is. I didn't know what fusion is. I was confused
do
with
know
what you were
what
talking
fusion
about.
is.
You
Hey,
didn't
I
know
do
what
know.
fusion was. I just read it to you. You had no idea what this was. You don't have to pretend like you knew something.
It's
You
like
can just admit
creating
when
a
you don't know
star,
something. I
buddy.
admit when I don't know
understand
something.
what
I
it
just
is.
admitted that I don't know what fusion is, and we looked it up together, and we found that
like-
it is nuclear fusion.
it's like
and then I had some
creating a
idea, or at least a
star.
better idea. Can you please stop talking? I just let you rant for 5 minutes. Nobody needs to hear you speak while
No,
I'm speaking.
you're telling me I don't understand something, so I
You don't know
said
what fusion
yes.
is.
Yes, I do. Okay, it gets to
Please
millions of
elaborate.
degrees.
Give us an in-depth description of what nuclear fusion is.
So it's when you spin particles very, very, very fast, and they basically start creating a ton of energy, which then releases all this energy. It's kind of like a star, and you're spinning it, and it's getting millions of degrees hot, just like the sun. It's like
That's not
creating
what
a
I'm reading
star.
here.
Okay, well, maybe you're reading the wrong thing.
In a fusion process, two lighter atomic nuclei combine to form a heavier nucleus while releasing energy.
And that's like how a star is created. So
No, it doesn't say anything about spinning or anything.
Okay,
but then
so-
again, hold on. I just want to preface that I could be wrong. I'm just reading a description here right now because I don't know anything about nuclear fusion. I'm not a nuclear scientist. So anyway, aside from all of that, just wanted to point out: maybe anybody in the chat knows anything about this? People are saying. Anyway,
nuclear
I don't
fusion
know.
is essentially the same as basically having the same amount of what energy the sun has. It is an endless supply. The problem is it gets millions of degrees hot, and we can't keep the reaction long enough. And having the materials.
Hold on, I'm not listening to you. I'm trying to read the chat.
Okay, that's fine.
He's talking about. People are saying you're talking about fission. Okay, this doesn't matter. Anyway, we can talk about
It's nuclear
energy in a second. Who just got invited?
It's like
Anyway,
replicating what a star's core has, basically.
who? How did you
And
get up
yes,
here?
I'm not a nuclear engineer, so
How
Hi,
did?
can you guys hear me?
Yeah, hello.
Hi.
it's not nuclear fission, it's fusion, by the way. Someone said fission.
So I'm a student in physics. I don't have a degree yet, but I kind of like study this and listen to lectures on my off time. There's a difference between fusion and fission. We currently use fission right now, which is atomic breakups. So when you use the nucleus of an atom, you can use more neutrons and then use it to break apart the nucleus, and then that energy we use and then convert it to electrical energy. Fusion is different. That's when we try and do what a star does, and just like by concentration of mass create energy, just because of it's more math than I would be able to like express. I wouldn't really be able to say it, but currently Sorry, I'm kind of nervous.
No, you're good, man. I'm
No, this
learning
is
right now. This
crazy.
is fascinating.
Yeah, no. I just want to say I'm a big fan.
Hey, Liam. I'm a fan
Yeah.
of you. You seem very, very interested in this stuff. This is cool. So we do fission? Do we do fusion and fission for energy
Currently, right
generation?
now, we do fission only.
Fission. Only.
Yeah, that's
But
like
people-
what most of our investments are in, but fusion is something that we're trying to work towards, but it's still like 20 or 30 years out. That's what they have been saying for a while, but it's two different things.
Sure.
But China is ahead right now in that technology. They've been able to sustain, I think, a reaction for like maybe minutes, but before it was like seconds.
Do you know anything about that, Liam? I don't know anything about that.
I don't know anything about China specifically being able to. Well, I mean, I don't know anything about China's nuclear ability, but I would assume that it's similar to ours. And if it is similar to ours, it would still just be fission based and not really like in the realm of fusion yet. I wouldn't be able to speak on that at all.
Gotcha. Okay, well, thank you, Liam, for
Yeah,
explaining
they're
that.
not-
I appreciate that.
They
Yeah,
don't
no, of course.
sustain that technology.
Just, hey, Blue Man, be quiet for 5 seconds, please. We're trying to give Liam a graceful exit because he came up here and explained something that's very complicated. So thank you, Liam. I appreciate you, and I'm a fan of you, and thank you for supporting, all right?
Yeah, of course. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Liam.
Have a good one.
man. Anyway, now that we had somebody way smarter than us talk about this, let's talk about Russia and Ukraine. What a stupid analysis. I also don't know where you got 600,000 from. I don't know where you got that number from in terms of Ukrainian casualties. But the idea that we should just like stop funding Ukraine and then somehow the war would have ended. The war would have ended because Russia would have taken Kyiv and like taken over the country of Ukraine and killed a bunch of innocent people. So your solution is, hey, let's just allow, Ukraine wants to fight, but let's not arm them so they get cooked and get destroyed and Russia takes over, versus, hey, let's arm Ukraine when they want to fight so an ally of ours can fight for their own sovereignty and protect their own borders, which is not only good for global peace, but it's good for the United States as well.
Yeah, so there has been about 700,000 people total killed on each. That's counting both sides, by the way.
Yeah, it's both sides. We're talking about
Yeah,
funding
that's what I
Ukraine right
said.
now.
I mean, I'm talking Russian soldiers.
Well, you were talking in the context of Ukraine.
I'm talking about a war in totality. Why didn't the United States try to reach out and try to, why didn't Biden, why wasn't he able to basically keep the peace? That's the question I have.
So we
It's
tried.
because we've been inching our way. We said back in the 90s we wouldn't do NATO closer to Russia. And we said, hey, we'll stay back. And at one point, Russia was going to get in NATO, but we said no. I know I'm going back in time, but you have to go back in time to.
No, I'm not. I have no problem with that. You're just wrong. Also, it's around 500,000.
I'm not wrong.
It's 500,000 in between Russia and Ukraine right now. That's both sides, and that's casualties.
Okay, where's your facts coming from?
This is from Congress.gov, but it's a New York Times article that was published in 2023.
Yeah, so that has to be right, since it was in 2023.
Yeah, I'm saying as the latest
It's
numbers that we have right now are
2024 right now.
2023. I'm not finding any numbers that are updated at least.
Well, I read a news article that up to 600,000 to 700,000.
Sure. I mean, yes, we agree that
And
there
it
are a
was
lot of
Reuters,
casualties.
it
I
was
just
a
wanted to be specific on
Reuters
that.
article. Yeah, I can't remember the article I read.
Mm-hmm.
So all I'm saying
continue.
is, why didn't we do something different to ensure that the war didn't happen?
Yes,
and all those
right.
innocent people died, right?
So we tried, right? I'm literally reading a book about this right now about how
It's
Biden
because
and his administration tried.
because the big guy. That's what it was. You know what I'm talking
Nope,
about?
it's
the big guy?
you don't have to continue to be stupid. You don't have to do that. There's nothing ridiculous like that.
Don't call me stupid again.
What you just said was very stupid.
You don't get to call me stupid.
I'm doing it right now. I'm telling you that was stupid what you said, and your analysis on this entire war is stupid.
Okay, you can say you think it's stupid, but you won't call me stupid. Is what I'm saying.
Well, at least on this topic, you are uninformed, yes, or stupid, whatever word you want to use. So now that you're done your little hissy fit, Biden tried. We presented the Russians with intelligence, really sophisticated intelligence, such as like intelligence within Putin's inner circle, which at the time was like 5 people. That we knew exactly what they were going to do. We knew exactly what they were going to do. We had satellite imagery of their soldiers being built up, the fact that they were building hospitals on the border of Russia and Ukraine, the fact that they were moving tanks and weaponry into these areas and on the border with Ukraine. And then we had intelligence that they wanted to go through Belarus and right into Kyiv to take the city and kill Zelensky. The fact that they wanted to set up, quote unquote, I don't know if I can say this word on live, but concentration blanks in Ukraine and parts of Ukraine to take out people who wouldn't just subject themselves to Russian rule. We had all of this intelligence. They said, no, we're not doing this. We presented it to our allies in Europe, in Britain, in France, in Germany, saying, hey, we have a specific intelligence that they are going to do this. They were somewhat reluctant to believe it. And we confronted the Russians a number of times saying, hey, don't do this. Do not do this, right? We tried. We tried to stop the Russians. There's only so much the United States can do when we're not directly a military partner in this war, where we can't just say, hey, we will put our troops here if you do this. So the United States tried. We had multiple meetings. The CIA director was going to Ukraine like so many times in the lead up to this. I won't give a specific number. So many times. So we tried. So your idea, this is why I called you stupid, because your
And you
idea that,
failed.
oh, it's just,
And you
hold on, be
failed.
quiet, because your
No, you
analysis is
failed.
so rudimentary. The idea that, oh, it was just the big guy or this or that is so surface level, like conspiracy crap. It's painful.
I'm not saying conspiracy. I'm just saying they didn't do anything. They didn't stop
You're wrong.
it. They didn't
You are
stop
wrong.
it. I'm not wrong. Okay, is the war still going on?
You are wrong that the United States didn't do anything.
The last time I looked, I said that they didn't stop it. They failed.
You just said that they didn't do anything.
Your
You just said
administration
that.
failed the people, as they did fail Israel as well.
Please inform me. Please
Hezbollah.
inform me
All
what the president of
wars
the United
that are
States
going on.
could have done to stop Russia further. We threatened them with economic sanctions. We told them that we were going to support Ukraine. We've made good on all these things. We told them that we were going to unite the
sanctions
entire
really
West
helped,
against
didn't
Russia.
it?
We did that. Please inform me what the United States and Joe Biden should have done instead to stop Russia from doing what they were doing, which they've been planning for quite some time now.
We could have had NATO presence in Ukraine instead of saying, "Hey, here you take."
Oh, Jillian, good to see you. So let's have a NATO presence so that if somebody from NATO dies, it becomes a larger war when Article 5 is invoked in NATO, and that's an attack on what is an attack on all. Oh, masterful gambit. Masterful
But
gambit.
it's okay
You're
to
playing chess.
kill Ukraine people, and you set and are able to eat every day and have a good life.
Start it again. Say that again.
Democrats don't care about anything but themselves as long as they're getting their pockets filled with free money.
What are you talking about? See, this is what I'm talking about. You have no idea what you're talking about when it comes to the context of this war.
Okay.
You have no idea. You're saying that Democrats are benefiting from funding Ukraine? No. The United States is benefiting from funding Ukraine. This is protecting global security. Like, oh my God, bro. This is so crazy. This is so insane that you just think that, you know what? Yeah, we're just sending, by the way, we're also sending weapons. We're not sending bags of cash. We're sending weapons. We're just sending a bunch of weapons to Ukraine just for fun, just because we think it's a fun time. No, there's strategy here.
Oh, the strategy is really working. It's killing people.
I'm sorry. Russia caused this invasion. Are you saying that the United States should just let Russia go into Kyiv and go into Ukraine and kill a bunch of innocent people and we do nothing about it? And then we set the precedent that Russia or China or other countries can invade smaller countries and the United States will just sit back?
What did I say? Did I say that, or did I say have a NATO presence?
What? So, okay, wait, hold on.
Do you think they would really take on NATO?
So one of the
That's
main
my question
concerns
to
of
you.
Russia, according to them before the war, was NATO expansion. They didn't like that. And the United States kept saying, Ukraine's not joining NATO. Then we put NATO in Ukraine, which Ukraine is not a NATO nation. And then if a Ukrainian or if a NATO soldier dies or anybody from NATO dies as a result of a Russian attack, that's an attack on NATO. And then we get involved militarily. Is that the goal here?
So do you think if we actually had a decent commander-in-chief and military commander that they would even come after us? Probably not. We didn't have the wars going on during Trump's reign, and I'm not
did have
talking
wars
about
going
the
on under Donald Trump.
small Afghan. It wasn't 600,000 people.
There were people that died under Donald Trump as well.
Okay.
Right.
Small amount of people compared to the amount of people that's going on right now. Come on,
if there's a new war,
dipshit, Harry. Don't be a dipshit.
If there's a war going, I mean, this is just such a
don't be a
stupid point.
dipshit. Now,
Again,
don't
you're
be a
like
dipshit.
now you're just like striking out right now.
Don't be a
if there's
dipshit
a war,
now.
if there's a war that Russia caused illegally and it's a newer war, more people are going to die as a result of a newer war. Just like there were more people that died under FDR than there were the president before him. Would you say that FDR is responsible for all the people that died under World War II just because the war took place and that he wasn't a strong commander in chief? No, the fuck you wouldn't say that. Right? So don't make that stupid point about Joe Biden and be like, oh, well, people died in Russia now. People were still dying in Crimea and the Donbass region, right? When Russia still occupied illegally those regions under Donald Trump. Donald Trump didn't get those regions back to Ukraine. He didn't do anything about it. This big, strong, big leader that you keep talking about, a strong commander in chief, just allowed the conflict to continue in those regions, didn't do anything about it. It's so funny how you suddenly think, oh, Trump's going to be able to solve these wars when this war was partially going on under Donald Trump. I digress. Your analysis here is just really bad. And if we had a NATO presence, that would have just led to more escalation. We were trying to de-escalate with Russia, and having a NATO presence there. First of all, we don't have NATO presences in countries that are not NATO. And second of all, that would have just been an escalation.
We're basically just using Ukraine as a pawn. That's all I'm getting at. So if we really cared, we would be boots on the ground. There is some people from Americans. There's mercenaries that are actually in Ukraine helping.
Yeah, those are people who went over voluntarily.
Yeah, I know.
Can you just listen to yourself for a
nations.
second? If we actually cared, we'd have boots on the ground. If we actually care, that means we have to enter into a new war with Russia, a global superpower? Really? Does that sound logical to you?
I guess what I'm trying to say is if we cared about the people of Ukraine, the ones that have been displaced from their homes, the ones that have died, then we would have a better support system. Why did I just get a warning?
Probably because you're saying something unintelligent.
I didn't say
Unintelligent warning. You TikTok, you're getting taken down.
Okay, that's
What
fine.
support system are you saying we should have instead?
Blue Man, that was cute. Blue Man just blew himself. Haha.
Can you stop reading the chat and respond to me? What
I'm allowed
other
to
support
read
system
chat.
are you suggesting? Hello? I'm asking you a question. What other support system are you suggesting for Ukraine?
I don't have all the answers, but I just say that we're allowing people to die. I don't have the answers.
Army?
I'm not a military guy who's like, hey, here's how
So-
things should be done. But I think it's very sloppy under Biden.
So yeah, and you're saying it's sloppy. You're saying we should be doing more. Then you don't know how it could be better and how it could be improved.
Does
and what more
Biden
should
even
we be
know
doing.
where he's at right now? That's
Yeah,
the
and then
question.
you resort back to these like really silly talking points. He's like, oh, he doesn't know where he's at. Stop going for the low blows. You can't stand on your own analysis of a global conflict. So you have to go, well, Biden doesn't know where he's at. That's why it's a problem. What are you doing? Just don't talk about this if you don't understand it, or if you have to like resort back to stuff like that. I don't know what other support system you could say that we should be providing. We're providing them with weapons. We're providing them with humanitarian aid. We're providing them with even salaries so that their parliament can stay open in some cases, so people can actually like do their jobs and legislate and govern still in the middle of a war. We're doing all of this aside from having the American military in Ukraine, which would then again bring the United States into a broader war with Russia. I don't know why we would do that. I don't know why you say we should do that, but obviously that is not good policy. And suggesting that it's just messy, this or that, whatever. I just can't even respond to like, oh my God.
Okay, we can move on if you have issues with that.
Well, these points are just bad.
We don't have to talk about it, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I know. These points are just bad. Anyway, do you have anything else you want to talk about or no?
No, but have fun the next 4 years.
I don't think anybody will have fun for the next 4 years, but sure, if that's your departing message.
Yep.
That's it?
2020.
Very strong departing message. Now do me a favor, get the hell out. Ay. Jake, thanks for the $1. Blue Man got his research for this conversation from the from the instruction manual of an LG Wi-Fi enabled fridge. Yeah, golly, Jake, golly, just cooking his stuff, man. Yo, Killer, I appreciate the $2. Hope I'm not in trouble for adding Liam. No. That was actually really beneficial. I appreciate you, Killer. Justin, thanks for the $2. I can't read that on live, but I appreciate you. Bax, thanks for the $5. Hey, Harry, hope is all is well. I have a MAGA friend with me in person that would be interested in debating you. My TikTok name is Simping for Styles and is at Corey Styles. I appreciate you so much and love what you do. Yeah, we can definitely get them up here and debate. No problem with that. 100%. Blair, thanks for the $1. I can't really donate much money this week, but I'll always be watching the live. You never have to donate, Blair. I appreciate you just being here. The fact that you're here supporting and watching means more to me than anything else. So Blair, I appreciate you. I hope you have a happy Thanksgiving to everybody as well. Justin, thanks for the $5.22 saying W Liam. Blue Man is so disconnected from reality. Yeah, I agree. Christy, thanks for the $5. Thank you, Harry, for never giving up. We all need you to keep doing this. We need to stay strong and keep hope alive. I totally agree. Totally got to keep these conversations going. Sophia, thanks for the $1. Keep it up. I appreciate you, Sophia. Good to see you again. Gabby, thanks for the $7 for your car. Don't worry, I don't need one. I live in a major city, so that's why I don't. But I appreciate it, Gabby. My electric vehicle, and it's $100,000 apparently. Sierra, thanks for the $1. Are you going live Thursday? Because it's also my birthday, and the only gift I want is to see her live. Yeah, I can. I probably will. I know that's Thanksgiving, but I don't have any reason not to, per se. Brian, thanks for the $10. How do you bring minerals and things like lumber to the U.S. with tariffs? Oh, sorry, I already read that. Yes. But important to read again nonetheless. I think I missed Sorry to be, oh, Tiffany, thanks for the $2. Looking cute as always. I appreciate you. And I really enjoy your lives. Maybe you could add me back on Snap. I happily would. I add a bunch of people back on Snap all the time. So no problem with that. Audrey, sorry to be ignorant, but can you explain more on filibusters? All I know is I want you to film me. Whoa. I was, I thought that was like a genuine, it took me by surprise. Mr. RJ, thanks for the $15. University of Michigan student here. We love you. I appreciate you. I appreciate Mr. RJ. I'm a Penn State football fan, so little bit of beef. Carmen, thanks for the $6. I damned you about the sun study and what it did. Thank you, Carmen. I appreciate that. Daisy, thanks for the $1. Stop looking at my page and pay attention. You're right. My bad. Maxon, thanks for the $1 as well. New Generation 2028. It is what it is. And Shakayla, thanks for the $2.22. I say this every day, but I also appreciate you every day. Anyways, please give us song suggestions. Here's one, New Perspectives by Noah Khan. I love Noah Khan. Any song by him is great. Venmo Cash App in the link in the bio if you want to support the live. Yeah. Also, drop a follow if you haven't already. We do these lives all the time. You know the drill. We are 35 followers away from 200 for the night, so make sure to drop a follow if you haven't already. And of course, double tap the screen. Let's try to get to 700,000 likes. All right. DJ says he's MAGA. I don't know. For some reason, I feel like I've talked to that guy. Not 100% sure. But we shall see. Hello.
Yo, what's up?
What's up, man? Have I talked to you before by any chance?
I think we talked a while back.
Okay, gotcha. You voted for Donald Trump?
Of course.
What a disaster. I mean, are you? Do you regret it yet? I keep asking people that. Do you regret it or no?
My life hasn't been better since he's been elected.
He's not president right now, my man.
Who he's president-elect.
Yeah. So, like, nothing has changed.
Oh,
so.
just the aura. Everything about life just seems better.
Cult member. Okay, cult member. Yeah.
Cult member.
Yep.
I'm not a cult member. Why do you subject to thinking that I'm a cult member?
Because you just said that because Trump is president-elect, your life is better because of the aura. That is like the craziest shit I've ever heard in my entire life.
Come on, Harry. I think you've heard crazier shit.
It's exaggeration, yes. I've definitely heard crazier things. It's up there, though. The
Look,
aura has made you feel better.
I'm not a super crazy far right MAGA lover. I mean, I love Donald Trump. I love his policies. I love.
Okay, what are your favorite policies of his?
Well, to be sweet and short to the point, make America great, which I think.
So what does that entail?
Protecting American citizens, making the country safer.
Okay, how?
Securing a border.
How's he going to do that?
By, like he said, putting the tariffs on Mexico of 25%.
Don't say the F drug. Don't say the F drug. Just say F drug if you have to.
No, I look. That is the yeah. Okay, the F drug doesn't mean. I'm talking about make America safer again, like he has said, by implementing these tariffs, and they're basically just like gotcha moves by saying, "Hey, look, I'm going to implement this on you, but if you don't want this tariff, just take care of your border. Stop sending these caravans to the border. Stop, like."
Man, we're so like as a country, man, we're just in a bad spot.
I think
so do you
spot.
think that the president of Mexico or any president the prime minister of Canada can just like flip a switch and the migration from their country to other countries is just ended? Like, do you think that like the issue with migration is so simple that it's just like, oh yeah, the president's just not doing enough to fix it? Don't you think that the president of Mexico wants people to stay in Mexico?
Here's a question for you. Why did Biden get rid of Remain in Mexico?
So remaining in Mexico wasn't even in use by the end of the Trump administration. It was wrapped up in legal issues. It also just wasn't an effective policy. It only affected around like 60 to 70,000 people. And of those tens of thousands of people, around 1,500 were assaulted, killed, put into bad situations, the very bad situations that they were trying to flee. So it's just an inhumane policy, an ineffective policy. It didn't affect a lot of people.
So it's a more of effective policy to let people just stay and remain in the United States.
No, what's an effective policy is reforming the asylum laws so that the asylum can only be utilized by people who actually need it. Right now, the problem at the border is not a bunch of people walking across and they're just undocumented, and the Biden administration and the Department of Homeland Security is not doing anything about it. The problem is a lot of people are abusing the asylum system. They're coming to the border claiming asylum when it doesn't apply to them. And the bar to be granted temporary stay is actually very low. So most of these people are approved to come to the United States. They're given a court date that's around 4 to 8 years away because the backlog is so strong. So what Joe Biden and Kamala Harris wanted to do, and what Kamala Harris wanted to do if she won, was reform the asylum laws so that you wouldn't have a mass amounts of people coming in. You wouldn't have mass amounts of people abusing the system, but asylum still remains.
And look, we can find common ground because I agree. Like people that want to claim asylum, just because I'm a Trump supporter, I'm also married to a migrant from Colombia. So she has a green card status. And my thing is doing it the legal process way, not doing it the illegal way. So again, my wife being from Colombia gets me irked by people giving, free shit when we've paid our way. We've done interviews, we've done this, done that, and she's still pending to become a citizen. And this is a 5-year process. I think it should be faster. I know that there needs to be a better pathway to citizenship, but there's a right way of doing it.
Man, do I have some bad news for you? So, oh man. So this is crazy. So Joe Biden actually signed an executive order to keep families together. Families like yours, families where somebody might be an undocumented migrant or somebody's on a green card or work permit, to make sure that that individual who's married to an American citizen is not deported. So Biden actually signed an executive order before the election, by the way, that you probably should have taken into account with your vote, that protected families exactly like yours. Here's the problem. The Trump administration, the incoming one, wants to make it harder to seek, I shouldn't say this, well, they obviously want to make it harder to seek asylum. They want to make it harder for people to get citizenship. Folks whose green cards expire, they want deported automatically. Folks whose working permits expire, they want it deported automatically. Donald Trump, when he was president the first time, reduced the amount of green cards and work permits we give out every single year. So if your wife, for some odd reason, Trump makes it harder to get citizenship, and your wife's green card expires, Trump is going to try to deport her.
Well, her green card has been extended, but we're like I said, we've been in this process for over 5 years. She was here on a legal visa, and I married her, and we filed immediately. We've already gone through the USCIS Department of immigration. We've had our court cases and everything, and we've paid and the process has been taking long because the process has been taking longer because of the ridiculous amount of asylum cases.
Yeah, so Joe Biden and Kamala Harris had a plan to address all those asylum cases as well.
No, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris didn't have no plan, but just let the borders be open. And now you're going to tell me that what policy did they have that allowed the border to be open? Dude, come on,
Yeah, so you can't just make claims, and then when there's like a valid rebuttal and you can't name something, you can't just go, dude, come on. The Biden-Harris didn't do anything to open the borders. They actually did have a policy that would have addressed this. The bipartisan immigration bill would have expanded
the bipartisan immigration bill was bullshit, Harry, and we all know that.
God, okay, then vote for Donald Trump. Okay, fine, man. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to Democrats. Don't listen. Go vote for Donald Trump, who wants your wife deported if her green card expires.
My wife, if she was allowed to vote, she would have voted for Donald Trump, and she's an immigrant.
I can't stop you from voting against your own interests. If you want to vote for a system where it's more likely that your wife's green card or whatever permit she is on here is extended and it's harder for her to seek citizenship, you do you. It breaks my heart. It breaks my heart when I hear stuff like this because you're voting against your own interests, and then you're trying to rub it in. Oh, the libs did this, the libs did that, buddy. You're voting against your own interests. I don't want your wife deported. I want your wife on a smooth path to citizenship, which, by the way, the Democrats have been proposing, making the process more efficient, making it easier for people to get citizenship. But folks like yourself say no, and then you go vote for Donald Trump, who wants to make this process harder and wants to, if your wife's green card expires, gone.
It's people
out of here.
It's people like you that want me for me to believe that, but I truly
then
believe.
Just watch it happen.
No, okay, and you know what, Harry? If it happens, I'll blow you up and I'll tell you, hey, Harry, you were right. But I promise.
By the way, I don't want this to happen. This would break my heart if it did. I'm just saying that with Donald Trump in office, that is a more likely scenario. Just understand that. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm not trying to dunk on you. I'm not trying to do any of that right now because stories like these genuinely are very sad. When people get deported, families are ripped apart who just want to be happy. It's tragic. I'm just telling you that the facts are the facts. Donald Trump has promised a mass deportation campaign, and that includes people who green cards expire. So if God forbid something doesn't happen with your wife where her stay is extended, Trump will, Tom Homan, the guy that he appointed to be his border czar, he's not fucking around.
Yeah, well, you know what the scenario is, Harry, that I'm a man of God and I believe and trust in that at the end of the day that my vote made this country safer, and I truly believe my wife that I met at 19 years old, who is 25 years old now, has no problem seeking citizenship. Her family that has also done the same process is already a United States citizen. And
when did they become citizens?
Last year.
Under Joe Biden.
And my process started under Donald Trump.
Wait, you're here on a green card as well?
No, my wife's process started under Donald Trump.
He's the sponsor.
Right. Oh, she's there with you?
Yes.
Oh my God. Oh my God, bro.
Oh, what? You want to talk to her?
No, I just wasn't aware that she was there.
Trust me, nothing you can say is going to offend her.
I'm not worried about offending her. I'm just like, you guys got to be honest about what's happening here. Like I'm genuinely. She's
sitting here shaking her head at me, telling me that you're you're gaslighting and everything.
That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. You don't have to believe me. You don't have to believe me. You can just listen to Trump's border czar, Tom Homan, who's talked about people who are here on green cards that might have expired at some point. You're gone.
Criminal illegal aliens is their target.
Oh no. Oh, again, bless your heart. Yeah, no, that's not what Tom Homan, the new border czar, said. That's Stephen Miller. I'm not sure if you're familiar with him. Stephen Miller has been appointed deputy chief of staff to Donald Trump. Tom Homan, yeah?
He keeps saying Homan.
Homan, I don't care. This
well,
guy,
just
this guy
like
sucks.
people used to say Kamala or Kamala is Kamala.
Tom Homan is somebody that worked with Project 2025 and advocates for
he also worked
separated and have. Can you just shut the fuck up for 5 seconds?
He also worked under the the Obama administration.
Yeah, he did. And that was bad.
So
that he should have done that.
What's your problem with that? He worked under your favorite
I disagree with that.
Just because he worked under the most.
Can you zip it for 5 seconds? Just because he worked under the Obama administration doesn't mean I'm going to be like, oh well, now he's great. No, this guy's a lunatic. This is a guy who's advocating.
Obama fucking put him in place. Can
you be quiet for 5 goddamn seconds? Thank you.
Go ahead, Larry. Go ahead.
My God, this is a guy who's advocating for people whose green cards have expired to be deported. They said that their first order of business is to go after criminals. Then after that, people whose green cards expired, people who are just here illegally, undocumented, they are gone. That's what Tom Homan has made very clear. So, and a lot of these people have situations that are just like your wife's, where they had green cards and they were here legally at some point, but those green cards expired and they just never went back to their home country. I'm just saying that you should be prepared for the possibility that theoretically your wife's green card expires, something like that happens, or there's some issue that might take place that she can't get a renewal or whatever it might be, whatever stage of the process you're in, whatever. That Trump would be coming after people like your wife. That's all. I just want you to be aware of that. You can think it's fear mongering. That's fine. Just watch. Just look at what the people are saying. Look at what Donald Trump's saying. Look at what Stephen Miller's saying, who wants to denaturalize people who have been naturalized. So anyway, that's all. You can scream now if you want. You're muted, by the way. Nobody can hear you. So if you've been talking, by the way, the live just got restricted, unfortunately. So I'm gonna have to restart. Regulated goods and content. Oh my God.
Yeah, again, that's all to me just straight gaslighting. And you know what? If I meet my maker and something happens to my wife, then, I'll fight to the end of it, because you know what? I have a daughter that was born here 2 years ago. So again, the pathway for my wife, and I don't see any problem. And if I had thought that Donald Trump would be an object in the way of her becoming a U.S. citizen, I would have never voted for her. But I voted for him in 2016. I voted for him in 2020, and I voted for him this year.
Yeah,
And
you just vote against your own interests all the time. That's good.
I don't think I'm voting against my own interests. I think that there's a disconnect with America, and there's a reason why Kamala got slaughtered in the election.
She didn't. The popular
Harry,
vote's
come on, she lost
1.59%.
every battleground state.
Yeah, she lost by 1.59%. Donald Trump's
care.
margin of victory in terms of the popular vote is the worst it's been since 2000, and
There's
that's
so many
44th,
dumbass
51st
Democrats
since
in the world.
1820s.
California probably accounts for 10% of all the Democratic votes.
I don't care if California count. That's still American people voting, right?
Okay, again, and California could fall off the face of the United States and become their own country. I don't give a shit.
You wouldn't care if a state seceded from the union? What?
No, I really wouldn't, because you know what? California is nothing but liberal ass.
What state do you live in?
I live in Virginia, and it's a blue state, and I fucking hate it. And I love my governor, Glenn Youngkin, and I wish that we turn this state red.
Aren't you? You're a little freak. Yeah, so California keeps a bunch of these red states afloat. All these red states in the South, like Alabama, they're very poor states.
Let's just
they
let
don't
homeless
generate enough
people
revenue. So
live
what
out
the
and
California
shit
and
in
states like New York, these blue states that you're slamming on right now, Virginia as well, these blue states you're slamming on, these states generate the income or the revenue and help these red states stay afloat. Without California, without blue states, all these Republican states would be way more poor than they already are.
And to be honest, I care about myself, my family, my wife, my children. That's all. And I care about the good of the American people, and that America is safe. And that if I want to walk down the street in New York, I'm not worried about getting mugged or robbed. And I know you live there, and New York has become a fucking shithole.
You don't even live in New York, buddy. How can you speak about New York?
Because you hear about it on the news.
No, you just don't read data. You'd find that actually crime across the board in New York City has gone down.
Yeah, because they don't report it to the
year.
FBI, Harry.
They do report to the FBI.
Stop gaslighting.
That's just fake
No,
news.
that's not fake.
News.
They fucking read.
New York City reports to the FBI. Yes, they do. Also,
No,
New
they
York
did
City
not
itself,
report on the report.
Manhattan District Attorney puts out data,
Oh my
and the
God.
Brooklyn District Attorney, the Bronx District Attorney, all these people put out the District Attorney's offices put out crime updates every month.
So
about
tell me
how
why
crime's
they
gone up or down.
Why did they redact the statement that the crime has gone down? Well, actually, a bunch of liberal cities didn't fucking report their crime.
That's just not true. That's not
That
true.
is true. It's been fact checked
My God.
by
You gotta fact check
MSNBC.
yourself. You gotta fact check things. Sorry. Did New York City not report to the FBI? Yeah, you want to look that up?
If I get up live, I can't talk to you. So you look it up. And I'm sure you're gonna give me some bogus shit. But again,
So is it even worth providing something to you?
come on, give me your CNN article.
So I'm sorry. Let me just save me the time. Is it even worth providing something to you?
Shoot your shit, Harry.
It
Look.
is?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Let's see here. I'm trying to find the FBI. Because maybe the FBI might be better for you in terms of what you believe. I don't know. 1 second, it's loading.
Because I remember during the debate with Kamala Harris and Trump that David, whatever his name is, said something that the crime rate has gone down, blah, 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 blah. But then the FBI came out 3 or 4 days later and said the opposite of what he said.
That's I don't even know what you're referencing.
Oh, I guess you didn't watch the debate.
No, I watched. Trust me, I watched the debate. But the FBI didn't come out and say that crime rate has gone down. So I'm looking at New York, literally on FBI on one of the FBI Crime Data Explorer website. You can see like breakdowns for New York in specific. You can see over time. Over time, how crime rates have fluctuated. All you have to do is just go up here and like put in the state that you want to see. So obviously New York as a whole is reporting to the FBI if they have all of this data. And again, right up there it says, I don't know if you can see it, it says FBI right up there. So you're wrong.
Oh. Okay. Yeah, I guess I'm wrong then.
Yeah. So the idea that New York is just not reporting to the FBI.
No, I said bunch of liberal cities like New York, like California, like Detroit haven't reported their crimes to the FBI, which the numbers were looking like it was going towards a downward trend when they were like they always do when they compare this president to this president. And they were saying, oh, the crime rate has actually gone down under Biden versus Trump. But in the retrospect, again, I am a conservative Republican, but I still look at all major media news outlets because I always want to hear the opposing view. Harry, I hate your views, but my wife tells me, are you really watching Harry again? Yeah, because you know what? I want to sit on here and I want to listen to what Harry has to say because whether I like you or not, I want to hear what you have to say. I want to see if maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I don't understand something in my head, but what comes down to my core values is my family and my wife, my children, and the better of the American people. And I feel like I voted for Donald Trump for the right reasons, and I'll meet my maker if those reasons don't come true.
Okay, I really hope that they don't. I hope that Tom Homan, which by the way, his name is actually Tom Homan, Tom Homan and Trump are all lying. I hope that they're not going to come after people like your wife and that she has able to get a renewal. I'm just saying that the point I just wanted to make to you tonight was that your wife and your family would be far more safe and secure in a Kamala Harris America rather than a Donald Trump America. I appreciate the fact that you listen to media on different sides of the aisle. I appreciate that. That's genuinely good. That's good. So
look, Harry, we have more common ground than you think, and I'm going to hit you.
Probably.
Look. You're a Democrat. I'm a Republican, but we are.
We are.
I thought you were a Penn State guy.
Oh, I wasn't expecting you to do like a "We Are Penn State" kind of deal there. I thought you were. Didn't see it.
I'm a Virginian, born and raised in Philly. And
okay.
But we are.
We are Penn State. Yeah.
Come
Drew
on.
Aller, please,
me
man,
back
please
anytime. We can chat it up.
All right, DJ. Listen, you have a good one. All right, I appreciate you, man.
All right, man.
Thanks for being here. Have a good one. I got to restart the live now because it just got restricted. It got restricted. Let me tell you what it got restricted for. Discussing illicit substances. Your live contains themes that some may find uncomfortable and has been restricted. Reason, regulated goods content. Chris was telling me he was live earlier and, it kept getting restricted. So I'm going to restart. Oh, Parker says, add me real quick. So, sure. I'm going to restart after Parker because I have to, it's got restricted. It's not.
Yeah. The same thing happened to me yesterday. I wasn't talking about it at all, never brought it up. And literally got banned for illicit substance. I just got banned right now for 10 minutes for harassment and bullying. It was like stupid.
Yeah, no, this is like I got restricted yesterday and today as well. It's been 2 days in a row. And I wasn't talking about illicit substances at all. I don't know.
It's actually so fucking weird. The app has been so weird recently. Literally every time I go live, it's 65%, 75% following.
I
I
had
get
that
like
last night as
60%
well.
trolls. Yeah, dude,
Yes.
it's fucking terrible.
Yes, I had that last night as well. I just had a bunch of trolls that kept coming in.
That's how it's been for me for the past 2 weeks. Literally, for the last 2 weeks, specific, like last exactly 14 days, every single day it's 65, 75%, and it's like huge levels of trolls. So it's like it's been terrible
I don't
recently.
know what's going on.
All right, well, have fun restarting your stuff.
All right, man.
This
Appreciate
app
it. Have a
sucks.
good one as well.
Have a good one.
Yeah, we're going to restart the live. I presume Parker's going to go live again, so keep an eye out for his live as well. But I'm going to restart super quickly, and we'll be back, all right? And then I'm going to read out a bunch of these Venmo Cash apps because a bunch of people just sent stuff, but I want to make sure we thank you guys. All right, I'll be back in a second. 1 minute. We'll be back. Happen. But that didn't happen because they did try. But the Biden administration stepped in, and now the only reason that Ukraine is standing is because of Biden, I would argue. So I really don't think that any of these Republican politicians or Republican voters out there saying, "Oh, Trump wouldn't have happened under Donald Trump, or it only happened because of Joe Biden," is just it's not in line with I'd say a deeper understanding of foreign policy.
I mean, I see what you're saying. I mean, I'm not against sending the cash. I mean, the cash and the ammunition over there. But at the same point in time, I mean, when he, basically tomahawked, missiled Syria, right? I believe and again, not just believe, but just, you can see it on the world, as a world abroad, right? You can see how he deals with leaders. He is more of a dominant figure, right? He is not in the background. He's a showboat, right? He's arrogant, right? There's a lot of characteristics about him that, again, people don't like. They rub him the wrong way. But at the end of the day, when you have characteristics like that, and again, I deal with people that in business I do not like personally, but they run some great businesses. And again, they're arrogant. Sometimes they're a-holes and stuff. But at the end of the day, they get stuff done. And that's where I see from Donald Trump, again, is there things that are wrong with the guy? Absolutely, right? Do I like his sexual immorality? No, I don't, right? I mean, I'll acknowledge it, right? I don't, I know the civil cases and stuff. I mean, again, we could get into that part of thing. Is he immoral? Would I let my daughter date him? No, absolutely not, right? I mean, it's true, Harry, but
you'd elect him to be president? I mean, isn't that a damning indictment of more?
No, because I mean, if I'm going to battle with someone, right? Or let's say I have one of my workers with me. I'm in construction, right? And there's some, I would say, more choice words for some people, right? But they get the things done, right? I'm not looking at them, right? Hey, you're a drunk, or you're blah, 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 this. I'm looking at can this person get this job done, right? Regardless of what I think of them personally. And I'm this guy can get them done. I have subs that I'm hey, this guy, I don't really like him, but I know he can get it done. And that's, again, I don't want to Harry, not take away from anything. I mean, you're a very knowledgeable guy. I like the fact that you do your research, right? And I see a lot of the people that come on here. I'm oh my gosh. I mean, I'm not trying to argue you with facts all the way through this thing, because I know that you have more knowledge than I do on some things, and I do like to listen. Again, I'm not gonna strip away Biden's working with Kyiv, because at the end of the day, he had to, right? And I'm not going to say that he's doing an absolute terrible job. No, I'm not saying that either, because I do believe deep down that he cared about this country. I just didn't like the direction of some of the things. I mean, we could go into a lot of topics, and I could say, hey, I kind of Biden. That I did see the one thing I saw with Biden was more of the totalitarian style. And I know that seems a little bit shocking, but when the COVID vaccine mandate, right? When he was going more after, you have to get the shot, right? That's his administration. I can't get along with that, because again, not that I'm against the vaccine. I mean, it's not even a vaccine, right? Because it didn't prevent it, but not that I'm against like people taking it, right? If you had those things, but I just, for the life of me, I get so like, I did not like the fact that like there's just things being pushed. And I think a lot of people like just didn't like that and rubbed them the wrong way. And I don't think that was his goal, right? I don't think that was his like intention, but that's what it came off to me. So I don't know. I'm going to let you speak, Harry, because I keep speaking. So
No, you're good. So, but you run a business, yes?
Yes.
You would agree that your business was not forced to get to have a vaccine mandate, correct? Yes.
Yes, but it did have. I'm from Minnesota, so there was some things that I did not like that was going on.
But it wasn't because of the federal government. It wasn't Joe Biden, right?
No, it wasn't because of the federal government. But the basically the threats of doing that is what rubbed me the wrong way.
But there was no threat of doing that. Like Biden was never trying to say, "Oh yeah, all private businesses, we are going to throw a vaccine mandate on you," or anything like that. There was no attempt at that. And also the vaccine mandates that Biden put into place only applied to like federal workers and for the military, which by the way, we've had vaccine mandates in the military stretching back to George Washington, right?
And I understand those. I mean, those make sense though, right? Because I mean,
yeah, but that's the extent. There was no attempting of vaccine mandates. And it's also important to note that nobody was forced to get the vaccine. So if you were a federal worker and you were like, I don't want to do it, you had the two options. You could either do it or you could leave your job. But that's capitalism. That's the way that the government works, where, you know, a private company is allowed to, within their right, require you to do something that is in the benefit of the public health or workers' health and whatnot.
Yep, no.
And if you don't want to, you don't have to work there.
Yeah, difficult position. I understand like some of these things, but again, it wasn't like a vaccine, right? It helped you, right? Like it depended. If you were healthy, right, you could probably go without it, right? If you were obese or diabetic or something like that, more than likely it's like, hey, you know, is there side effects? I mean, with anything, yes, you know. But again, like people losing their jobs, right? Like my sister, nurse, she's like, basically, you have to get it, right? And she's like, well, I'm 24 years old. Why do I have to get this at the time, right? And they're like, well, if you don't get it, you're going to lose your job. And that's what I'm saying is that totalitarian style things, because that's what's coming down the pipe, right? Because I mean, I don't like that.
It's not totalitarian. What Biden did is within his right. And by the way, like, would you agree then, would you argue that Trump is totalitarian because there were vaccine mandates in the military and the federal government while he was president?
A little bit different on the military. But this wasn't a vaccine though, right?
But it is a vaccine.
It's not a vaccine.
I don't understand why you keep saying it's not a vaccine. It is a vaccine.
A vaccine would prevent, right? Like polio, that's a vaccine, right? If we're going to go to a vaccine level, it prevents it, right? The COVID shot did not prevent you from getting COVID. And then when they were sequencing it, right, it kept changing, right? You go from
what? A vaccine is not just like something that prevents.
Is a flu shot a vaccine?
Yeah.
A flu vaccine?
Yeah.
No, it's a shot.
Okay, now we're just being semantics. No, that's a vaccine 100%.
But I'm saying,
let's look up the definition then to be 100% clear. Because
let's look up the definition, because maybe I'm wrong, Harry, and I'm okay with being wrong. So
sure, This just. Yeah, see, a substance used to stimulate immunity to a particular infectious disease or pathogen, typically prepared from an inactivated or weakened form of the causative agent or form of Yeah, so exactly. So that's what the flu vaccine does. That's what the COVID vaccine does. So if it's something that, you know, an injection that looks to provide some immunity or at least prevent negative consequences from getting the said virus, then yeah, I'd call that a vaccine. So yeah, it is a COVID vaccine.
Yeah, I mean, if we want to call it COVID vaccine, after you reading that definition, I'll agree with you on that. I'm not going to fight you on that. But what I'm saying, like, obviously polio, like you get that vaccine, you're not getting polio. I mean, you can still get French polio, but that's like...
Yeah, well, there's different types of vaccines, of
different
course.
Different type of vaccines of the level.
Disease.
Of the disease, right? But you're not... And again, I don't want to be on here... Like, I want to kind of give my perspective why I voted, right? And... I don't want to like go down too far down a rabbit hole and get an argument with you, Harry, because I mean, I do like watching your streams because I feel like a lot of times when I'm watching. I'm like, oh my gosh, what is this person saying to you? Because it almost frustrates me. Don't feel like you're the only person.
I imagine. I get people all the time telling me they want to throw their phones at the wall with their watch. So I get it. I hear you. I mean, look, I don't know. At the end of the day, I don't buy into any of these arguments that Donald Trump makes about himself. I think that the evidence is to the contrary. And I think that whether, even if you want to talk about the character argument, which I just want to quickly speak about, go ahead. Would you say that Donald Trump's a bad person?
Yes.
So when I think that somebody's a bad person, I don't trust a bad person to make good decisions. If I'm like, this is a bad person who's done bad things, they've assaulted women, they've committed felonies, they've committed business fraud, I don't trust that bad person to make the right choice or make a choice that benefits the majority of the people when faced with that choice. And I don't think that you would either. I don't think if there's just a bad person in your life, you would trust that bad person to do the right thing. I want to be able to say, I trust the president to do the right thing. I trust them to make a choice that they think is best for the country. And I think that there are a lot of Republicans out there who I would say I have that belief about. So John McCain, who rests his soul, a war hero, a Republican who has a lot of policy disagreements with me. Mitt Romney, somebody I'd say who loves his country, a Republican who has a lot of disagreements with me. I disagree with these people, but I trust them to make the right choice, even if we see things differently. Donald Trump is just uniquely bad. And if we agree that he's uniquely bad, we agree that he's done some very bad things, I would almost have to say we agree that we would expect him to not make the right decision. Does that make, I don't know if that makes any sense, but that's just my thinking.
It makes sense. I mean, I 100% agree. In my regular life, absolutely. When it comes to politicians, I keep them a little bit further away from me. Just because, I mean, what I mean by that is for me, I don't trust most politicians. I am involved in the RNC here pretty heavily. I have people that work for congressmen. And the thing is that I see, right, with politicians, right, they start out there, they go to Washington and they get corrupt, right? Things happen. And again, personally, I don't think they're all bad, but with Donald Trump, being the president's a unique position in our country, right? I mean, we have the three branches, but again, the presidency is ushered to the top, right? And I kind of want to see where it goes. I mean, hey, if things turn haywire, which I can see that happening too. I can see that happening. I'm like, again, what I was just done with was a lot of the stuff that was going on I'm not blaming Biden for all the inflation, right? That's COVID, right? We can blame anyone. I understand inflation doesn't really have to do with the presidency all the time, right? And the Inflation Reduction Act, again, I don't think it was absolutely damning because I saw how much Trump was spending too. I truly believe, and I do believe that Social Security is going to be insolvent. I mean, I knew it was already going to be insolvent probably by what they said 2032. I don't know the exact date. So with him not taxing it, I do understand the insolvency of that because, I mean, if you're not going to tax the people on that, then it's just going to dissolve quicker. I don't think Social Security is even a good system. I do like a lot of the Nordic countries' way of doing it where they deposit it early. You can't touch the funds.
Oh, it hurts my heart, man.
Well, say that again?
It hurts my heart. Continue. Sorry. Continue.
It hurts your heart. I know. I'm sorry. I mean, here's the thing. In life, right? Life throws everything at you, right? I got COVID pretty bad and, short. And I agree, Donald Trump, is he a good person? No, he's not. He's not a good person. I mean, he can't even recite a Bible verse, right? He says he has a Trump Bible, but he's been caught. He does. I mean, I don't think he knows the difference between the Old Testament and New Testament, to be honest.
I don't think so.
But I voted for him more for the fact that sometimes I take risks on people that in my own life, I mean, I don't know they're fully bad, right? I'll take risks on them, and they've done bad things, and they end up being really good. Been good to me, right? Because I can see them change. I feel like he's had a change of heart, but I'm not 100% sold on that, right? Because I know there's a lot of BSing. He BSs all the time, right? I mean, he says shit that's not real. I mean, he does.
You're making arguments as to why you shouldn't have voted for Donald Trump. That he lies. He's a bad person. He assaults women. But
there's
can't you
women.
say
I'm
though that like
100% sold on that? Here's the thing. I've known people that have had a sexual assault and all that stuff. And I am for those people. The Brett Kavanaugh cases I had a really hard time with. Not because I don't think that there's a possibility with Brett Kavanaugh abusing that woman. It was just so shaky. It was so dicey. And that's the thing is, when that's going to be a public display, then to me it's like, well, that's, we don't have a ton of evidence, right? And all these people come out of the woodwork, and then they don't end up being like, a lot of the stories had a bunch of holes through them. And that's what kind of like, what it set me more off is just like, I'm not, and the thing is, I like a lot of Democrats. I'm friends with a ton of Democrats because I really like, I'll be honest, on a certain level, I think a lot of Democrats are from a higher educational system and more intelligent. I would say on the IQ level, yes. Like, there's no doubt about that to me. And I love Democrats for that, because a lot of times when they're articulating things like you, there's legitimate stuff that's brought up, and I'd rather deal with that, right, than just like, I'm voting for Donald Trump because, he's going to save the country and he's my savior. And it's like, no, he's not your savior, right? Because, he can't be a savior, right? But I think the way he's going to shake up the government, I do like the Doge thing, the Department of Government Efficiency, with Vivek and,
Did
Elon.
he shake up the government the first time? That's what you say, like, oh, she's going to shake up the government. That's what he said the first time. That's what he ran on. He's like, I'm an outsider. I'm going to shake it up. But he was president the first time already, and it didn't happen. The government wasn't shaken up, and the government didn't become more efficient. It didn't become better. He didn't pass any major legislation that made anybody's life better. There wasn't like a monumental moment in his presidency that, Obama had Obamacare and the Affordable Care Act. Biden had, like, I'd argue, a number of things like the infrastructure bill, whatever you want to choose.
Yeah.
Trump didn't have any of those. So now suddenly you think that he's going to be able to, like, shake up the system and shake up the government and be better?
He did some of those things, right, with the taxes on the business. Again, that did benefit me in some ways, right? I'm not going to give him all the credit, right? Like, because also during the Biden administration, like, my business did well, right? I don't blame Biden for the inflation. Just I know a lot of people will, even like if you listen to Ben Shapiro, he'll just hammer on him. And again, I don't 100% believe that, because again, it was COVID that caused it, right? You had this,
right.
And the United States as a country actually has lower inflation than a lot of the first world countries around the world. So again, but I think I'm looking at kind of the personal character. He's bad and that stuff, but I think he's going to do a lot for the country because it's his second time around. I hope it doesn't turn to vengeance. It might, right? I can see it go in a bad way, Harry. I can see it absolutely go in a bad way. But my hope, right? And this is hope, right? I mean, it doesn't mean anything, right? And I could see it going. I could see it going into the wrong direction. But again, I didn't like the tactics of the left on some of this stuff. Like I watched George Floyd riots. I watched the city burn, right? And I watched Governor Walz.
That wasn't us.
And I know, but I watched Governor Walz. He waited. I was down there. I was down at the riots, boarding up, right? As part, like, businesses were calling me in. I watched that area just be decimated by the riots, and then also by COVID. I'm not going to put it all on the riots, but that specific area where it happened, the other parts of the metro, they've kicked back, but that specific area just got demolished, and I see that from a lack of leadership, and that lack of leadership really comes down to who has the cojones, right? Like, and I think Donald Trump has.
Trump praised him. Trump like, have you heard the audio of Trump on the phone praising Governor Walz for his response to the riots?
Oh,
so like,
I have not heard. I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Again, he's a BSer. That's the thing. He says whatever. And then I get what you're saying, Harry, but like, that's the thing is like, at the same point in time, like, he says a lot of shit, and he does. He just does.
Okay, but do you understand how this is bad? Like, if Trump is on the phone and like mostly a private call, and he's saying to the governor of Minnesota that, hey, I appreciate everything you're doing. You were really quick with the National Guard. You got him in there. You took care of business. Like, I appreciate what you're doing. Don't you think it's problematic to have a president where you hear that and you have to be like, Well, I don't know if he's actually telling the truth. Isn't that? Can't you see how?
Yeah, I can see that. I mean,
You
but
know?
that goes back to like the Bible thing. He's like, "Oh yeah, I love the Bible," and then he doesn't know anything about the Bible, right? Like,
Right. But I think
why
that's
does he
bad.
do that? And I understand how you see that's bad, but he's a BSer, right? He's a good salesman, right? He sold me to vote for him. Maybe I'll regret that. It's like the nice car, right, in the lot. Maybe I'll regret it, right? But at the end of the day, I just think I want to see how this thing shakes out, and I think the Department of Government Efficiency, I think that's going to be a good thing because I think there is a lot of fat in the government, and the thing is, he's entrusting. The one thing that I liked about Trump, a lot of times he would appoint people. He wasn't so involved. He kind of handed off to these other people, and they did a good job. And I think for him, I mean, again, he's filed bankruptcy and all that stuff, but he did run legitimate business though too. That's the thing about him.
The business is engaged in a lot of business fraud, though, as found by courts. Like the Trump organization was found guilty of all 11 charges against it regarding taxes. He himself was found, liable for extensive business fraud, has to pay, as it stands, $500 million in business fraud fines. That's the point. Like, I think that your analogy of the car on the lot is a good one, except the car that's on the lot is a beat down, rusted, Ford from like the 1980s, but it has like a Ferrari logo on it. And the salesman saying, well, this car is so good. Like, trust me, it's going to be great. Like, it has a Ferrari logo on it, so you should trust it. It's going to be good. And then you drive the car and it breaks down. That's like the analogy I think that it comes to Donald Trump, where you'll have, it sounds so good. Oh, let's shake things up. Oh, he's an outsider. He's this, he's that. He's so successful. But in reality, he lies a lot. He commits business fraud. He commits crime. He committed crime as president, as alleged by the Department of Justice that he will soon control, and district attorneys and people all over across the country. I cannot see that reasoning, and I cannot see the reasoning of let's just see how it played out. Because at the end of the day, it is people's lives. And I'm personally not of the view of like, oh, I would just vote for somebody to see how it plays out when it is involving other people. If it's just me, and like, for example, if you're running your business and you want to take a risk on somebody that you're hiring, let's just see how that plays out. That's fine. That's your business. And if it goes wrong, then you take the blame. And if it goes great, then you get all the praise. But with Trump, it's like, this is going to affect everybody. If he puts his tariffs into place and he's not bluffing, that'll be prices on... Maybe he is. Who knows? But the prices for everybody will go up. The prices for low-income people will go up, and that will be directly the result of him. So I just think politics is not something to, like, in my view, like, take a chance on. We should vote for competent, experienced people. And in this race, Kamala Harris was the competent, experienced person, and Donald Trump was the rusted Ford from the 1980s on the lot that the guy is trying to sell you.
I know he might be the rusted Ford, but the engine's good in there, right? I mean, that's the thing. I mean, you could. I mean, that's what I'm saying, right? You can buy a new car and it's a piece of crap, right? It gets 100,000 miles. I had the Kia van, broke down 105,000 miles, engine block failure, right? It looks nice, right? But it broke down, right? And I was told it was a great vehicle, but that 1940s truck, it's rusted. But the engine's still good, right? I can repair the parts. And again, like, there's other things too when it comes down to like mining, right? Like, I'm in the state of Minnesota. We have the largest iron ore mines up there, but there's a ton of rare earth minerals up there. And so that's the thing, is that was shut down by the Biden administration. And I get from the standpoint of the environment, that's why. But like, when you break down to the science, like, they were going to do dry stacking. So they keep saying sulfur mines. And that's the thing, is like, sometimes that when I'm arguing with people, like, well, there's sulfur. I'm like, yeah, but they're building roads right through these mined areas, right, where there's sulfur is. But like, the acid and the base equal out when they're mining up there. And that is one of the largest rare earth deposits in the world up there. And again, if we're going to green tech, which I'm not sold on electric cars at all. I mean, here's the reason, because it's not realistic, because I honestly think hydrogen will take over, and you still need rare earth minerals, but like the electric system's not going to be able to support it. And I know you're talking about fusion and fission earlier, and again, I don't even know where the hell he was going. Blue, but like, at the end of the day, like, those are the things, like. And I know Elon Musk is involved, but I don't even believe Elon Musk really believes in the electric cars. I mean, he's more of a data company. He's not a car company. My My cousin, he works for him. He's his lead robotics engineer for his facilities, and he talks about it all the time. Like these cars, there's no way they're the way of the future because the mining industry would have to increase, 4,000% to keep up with that demand. And again, a lot of that stuff is being used slave labor in the Congo, and so that's the thing is. That's where I've had a lot of problems with the green tech. I'm not against, I believe in global warming, right? You put CO2, you're increasing, even though it's a very small amount, right, percentage of the actual atmosphere. I do believe you add CO2, you're going to increase the temperatures, right? It's not like the equator's going to get super hot. It's going to be the more of the northern climates, which, again, I think there's a lot of fear, and then, the sea level's rising. But at the end of the day, I haven't heard actually a common sense argument from the left on that perspective, because they'll say, oh, well, electric cars. I'm like, but you need a power grid to hit that. And then the fires that happen, they're releasing all sorts of heavy metals, and the lithium ion battery fires are very commonplace. And that's where I have a hard time, because I'm looking at the left. I'm like, hey, I'm all for taking care of the environment, but I don't hear, I hear the CO2 emissions are rising. 97% of scientists say this is going to affect us massively. But at the end of the day, it's what's the solution, right? I think it's nuclear. I think
sure.
I bet you agree. I bet me and you agree on a lot of things. You remind me of one of my employees. He's like my right hand man. He is Democrat to the day he dies. I'm never going to convince him. Good for him.
I like that guy.
It is good because I actually enjoy him, right? Me and him, we talked politics once. And I got a little heated, and I was like, "Hey, I'm sorry, dude. That's never happened again." You do not see. And he's a very intelligent man, and actually, he's converted me on some of these things, like what you've said. Agree. That's why I don't think Donald Trump's a good person. But at the same time, again, going back to a lot of things, I wasn't sold on the left's idea when they were putting out Kamala Harris. She's this candidate, and she's gonna. Thing is, do I believe she's an intelligent woman? Absolutely, right? You can't get to that point, right? And I don't like when people are like, oh, she's dumb, she's stupid, she slept away at the top. No, she did not. She's obviously very intelligent. But I just didn't think she was going to be able to lead the country the way that Trump will. Not because of Trump's morality, from the sheer will of, he is an entertainer, right? For first most, he's an entertainer. But second of all, he's really, he can change the mood of a room. And I've met people like him. Some are very good and some are very bad. And I think he's more on the good side. And I know you disagree because of the business allegations, the women assault and all that stuff. I wasn't there. I wasn't in that room. Again, I think there was a little bit of going after him because he's Donald Trump and he's a polarizing figure. People hate him.
Well, you wouldn't say that about anybody else that's been, found guilty of assault or anything like that.
Well, they tried to shoot him, right? I'm not saying
who's they. One actor in both instances. One person acted individually. There's no they. There wasn't anything like that.
But that's what I'm saying. How does someone get pushed to that point? Because
people are crazy,
right?
A lot of these people, but both of the people that tried to take out Trump were either registered Republicans or voted for a Republican. The second guy at his club, for example, talked about how he loved Nikki Haley and he voted for Donald Trump in 2016 and he was endorsing Vivek Ramaswamy. The other guy in Pennsylvania in Butler, expressed support for Donald Trump, was a registered Republican. His classmates said that he was conservative. I think that there are just crazy people out there on both sides. I don't think it's anything else.
But that's a one-sided view, Harry, because we also know that the guy in Butler was also donating. It was a small amount, but he donated.
He did. That's right.
He did. But that's the thing is we don't truly know what's in their heart, right? We can't judge. But that's what I'm saying is they said he was Hitler, right? And if he was truly Hitler, right? They if this is the country, right? And that's the thing is and I know politics is all about semantics and all these different things going on. But at the end of the day, I just didn't believe it. The message didn't come to me as true because I see a lot of BS that was being spewed from the left side about things. They'll say, well, we're for all these rights and stuff. But at the end of the day, like I could go into the trans issue because I'm very passionate about that.
No,
I'm very passionate.
I have to get more people up here, so that would be way too long of a conversation.
Harry, I appreciate the time because you need to get someone on here that you get a little heated, right? Because that's how you generate that money, right? I'm a
no, it's
businessman.
not even any. No, it's not like I like the good conversations. They keep me, they help my health. I don't have to like scream at these people. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I wanted to let you know you do have a friend over here on the right, and
I'm glad to hear it. I'm glad to hear it.
I appreciate what you do. I don't agree with a lot of stances, but I appreciate what you do, and you have a good night. Okay.
I appreciate that, man. You too. You're welcome back anytime. All right.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye bye. Jeez, man. Yo, JW, thanks for the $10, my man. You're still awake. No Peloton tonight. I hope you're having a wonderful Thanksgiving with your family. Do you have PayPal? My friend from Canada wants to support, but they don't have Venmo or Cash App in that country. I don't have PayPal. Maybe I'll make one. I don't have a PayPal, but people keep asking me about that. But I'm still Pelotoning tonight. I just can't lift. Normally I Peloton and lift. So that's why I normally go earlier. I normally Peloton like 12 or 12:30, and then I do an hour of lifting after. But now I can only Peloton. So it's only cardio tonight. So I can do it a little bit later. Andy, thanks for the 98 cents. I'm a researcher and getting my PhD in vaccine dev and biochem. I also work in surgical pathology and would love to clear up vaccine confusion anytime. Absolutely. We'll have you up here if we need you. For sure. That'd be great. Allison, thanks for the $1. Respectfully, because the privilege of this presumably straight white man to say he just wants to see how it shakes out when women's basic rights are on the line just makes me so mad, especially because he sounded like a sensible dude. Yeah, I don't agree with that. I don't agree. I mean, I told him that. I was like, yeah, I don't think that I don't think that's a good philosophy whatsoever to say, well, let's just see how it shakes out. I don't think that's a right philosophy when it comes to politics. And I mentioned him. Ami, thanks for the $3. Easy. Why'd you vote for Trump? Easy choice. I wouldn't trust my daughter with him, and the Democrats are smarter. Yeah. Anna, thanks for the 50 cents. Can you add me back on LinkedIn? Sure, I can add you back on LinkedIn. I don't know if I have a request from you, but if it's there, sure, why not? Comment your LinkedIn name. I'll make sure to get you back. Bex, thanks for the $5. Harry, please debate my friend. Mods keep kicking me from the requests. Okay, yeah, actually, let's try to get them up here. I sent one. Well, just comment your LinkedIn username or whatever your name is. I'll get to you. Jake, thanks for the $1. How can this business owner call Trump a great businessman who has bankrupted countless companies? Well, that's also a good point. Adriana, thanks for the $10. Thank you for being here debating these blank people every night. You're live as part of the night routine. I guess it said dumb. I didn't have to blank that out. I just, TikTok it's TikTok. But I appreciate you, Adriana. Thank you. Colleen, thanks for the $1. Again, I would not read this out loud. Okay. I shall. Drew, thanks for the $1. Can you read my Venmo comment from yesterday? Yes, I can, for sure. And Anna, again, with the $1. And Mike, thanks for the $10. Can we play NCAA? Add me as a friend. What's your user? I don't know it off the top of my head, but I would love to. Zoe, thanks for the $1. I'm a civil rights attorney on the immigration field. Always happy to come up and talk. Yes, you mentioned that. I think it was yesterday, right? Definitely. We should definitely have that happen as well. Jasmine, thanks for the $2. Still need those New York City sites and restaurant recommendations. I also have to do that 100%. 100%, as I mentioned. There's so much I have to do. Hannah, thanks for the $5. Got into UW-Madison Law School. Congratulations. You're going to do great. I have confidence in you. Daisy, thanks for the $1. I have an idea of what you, why don't you just send me it on the Twitter DM, Daisy? How about that? Tommy, thanks for the $1.69. All my ex-boyfriends are straight white guys, honey. I ain't gonna be one of them. I'm straight. I am a straight white guy. I hate to break the news. Mac, thanks for the $1. You're so flying, and we're both in Florida. I am not in Florida. Hate to break the news as well. And Victorious, thanks for the $30. Give us some W's for Victorious in the chat. I appreciate you. Thanks for being an ally. Of course, you have to support people. You know what I'm saying? We have to support people. Yeah, is that everybody? Bella asked me, what's my sleep schedule? It's terrible. That's what it is. And then Anna, thanks for the 50 cents. It's Anna. I won't read out your full name. But yes, I will. If it's recent, then I will, try to get to it. Anyway, Mia, sorry, I apologize for the delay. Are you there?
Yeah, hello.
You vote for Donald Trump?
No, but big love from Adelaide, South Australia.
What the fuck? What's up with Australians watching tonight? What the fuck? I appreciate you. Oh my God. I appreciate you, Mia. Thank you. That's very kind.
Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. I appreciate you. Thank you, Mia. What the hell? Melbourne in South Australia? What? She waited. She was patient, man. She was patient. Read Reese's Venmo. Reese? Read Reese? I don't think I have one from Reese. Venmo Cash App link in bio. Oh, Simping for Styles. That's who it is. They want me to debate their MAGA friend. Let me do that. Make sure to drop a follow if you haven't already. Double tap the screen. You know the drill. You know the drill. Hello, Simping for Styles, or what? Bex, right? I think your name is, or at least on Venmo. That's what it is.
Yes, yeah, it's Bex.
Hello.
Hi. I have my friend Katie here.
Are you both above the age of 18?
I'm 26. She's 28. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Very matured.
Yeah, you just have to be. You know that. Anyway.
Yeah, I know the drill. Yeah. Big fan.
right.
Big fan.
I appreciate that. All right, MAGA friend. What can I do for you? Why are you MAGA? How are you? How is this possible, man? How is this possible?
Okay, so listen.
You don't have to yell.
I'm not trying to yell. So I'm 50-50. So I don't think Trump is a very good person, but I'm voted for him because I want a good living cost.
So you're talking about like the price of goods?
Yes.
Oh man, I have such bad news for you.
I'm not very knowledgeable with anything, not in politics or anything, because I'm not a politic girly.
That's fine. Okay, that's fine. No, listen. Here's what I'll say. I'll try to make this quick. So the costs that you're talking about, like under Biden, is that what you're referencing when you say you want lower costs?
Yes.
Okay. So the costs that went up under Biden had nothing to do with the president. So if Trump were in office, the prices still would have gone up. What happened is inflation occurred because of COVID. It was really difficult for us to ship things to other countries, for us to import things. Our supply chains were backed up. Our trading routes were shut down. Nobody was flying, right? Like planes weren't even taking off to be able to transport things. Thus, the products on the shelves were less. So there was still demand for things like paper towels, for groceries and whatnot, but the supply was really low. So that's why prices went up. It's just like Econ 101. The supply is low, the demand is high, prices go up. It took some time for that to come back to a stable level. And that's why inflation kind of has been trickling down for the past couple of years. But also, you know that it's not just a United States problem, because the inflation rate in the United States spiked at around the exact same time as it did in other major economies like Great Britain, like France, like Germany, and Japan. It was a global thing. So it's not just happening in the United States. It's not just because of the president or Joe Biden or anything like that. It was always going to happen. And the last thing I'll say is that there were economists in 2020 who were writing that there was going to be high inflation in the next couple of years. And this was even before Biden took office, because this was just something that was foreseeable based on the economic conditions in the United States and around the world. Now, the reason I said, well, I have bad news for you, is that Trump just announced that he's going to be putting 25% tariffs on everything coming in from Canada and Mexico, and adding an additional 10% in tariffs to China. Now, a tariff is just a tax on imports, but the people that pay the tax are the company that's importing the goods. So if an American company is importing something from Mexico, they pay that tax, but then the company passes it down to us. So if you take China, Canada, and Mexico, they make up 46% of everything the United States imports. So on day one of Trump's presidency, he has said that he's going to make 46% of the stuff we buy, stuff that you buy, stuff that everybody buys, is going to become more expensive on day one. So that's all to say that I think voting for Donald Trump because you want lower cost is silly.
Okay.
And that's my TED Talk.
I understand.
Sorry, that was a lot. I apologize.
No, it's okay. I appreciate your knowledge on this, and that I can learn more about this.
Man, I can't believe. What state do you guys live in? What state you vote in?
Massachusetts.
All right, you're good. Whatever. You're good. It's a blue state, man. Listen, do you have any other reason why you voted for Donald Trump or no?
There is, but I won't go into it detail because I don't want to.
Okay, I respect it. Listen, Bex, can you convince her next election, please?
Dude, I've been trying. We've been friends since we were in second grade. Like, it's a lot to do with like her family as well. Like, her parents are heavy Republicans, which like boggles my mind because her mom is like a Filipino, an immigrant. So it's just like I don't understand the logic of voting against your people. For that, you know what I mean? Like deportation.
Thank you. Thanks for the 15 gifted subs. I appreciate you. That's great. Well, listen, I trust you to convince her for next election.
Trying.
We have 4 years. We have 4 years.
Yeah. As I said, I'm 50-50. I can go either way.
Yeah.
Okay.
High key was hoping that you could swing her more because I've been
I'll take it. You know?
Yeah. Thank
No,
you.
continue what you're saying. Good, if you wanted to say.
We've been friends for like what, like
Almost 20 years.
20 years, yeah. So like it's been like a fighting battle. But you know, like all you can do is just like be a voice of reason, and you know, like how you do it and debate with like other people. So yeah, I'm trying. It's a heavy
Well, I
load,
appreciate
but
you.
I got it.
I trust you to get it done. All right. Thanks for coming up. You know you're welcome back, and I appreciate everything, all the support, and yeah, you guys have a good rest of your night. All right.
Thank you, Harry. We're going
Thanks,
to bed
guys.
now.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
Happy
go
Thanksgiving.
rest.
Love you long time.
Happy Thanksgiving, guys. I appreciate you. Oh, Reese. Oh, yeah. Okay. So when people were saying, oh, yeah. Wait, how did you? Reese said, okay, I understand what people are talking about. With the 1 cent, I do not take responsibility for these people saying, read my Venmo DM. They are ops. And then Shauna just sent $1. Since you don't have a car, can Reese drive you to the White House? I'm pretty sure that's what Reese said. How did you know that? Is there collusion taking place here? JW, thanks for the $1 correction. Read Reese's instant DMs. What is going on? Why are 3 back-to-back people like bringing my attention to Reese? Jolly, thanks for the $1. What are your Thanksgiving plans? Food and football. Food and football. All right. I think I should probably go, right? I probably should go Peloton now. Cardio is very important, ladies and gents. Cardio is very important. Probably should go do that, huh? I know. I'm sorry. Is anybody else live right now that I could send you to? Parker's live. So you guys get Parker's live. There you go. It's not so bad. Hey, listen, everybody. I appreciate you being here. Sorry, the lives were a little weird tonight. Just with the restrictions, crazy people. That's what it's all about. Sydney, thanks for the $1 as well. Vouching for my friend Sydney Allen from Cleveland. She's a weird girl that sends you outrageous messages with her donation. She's a phenomenal person, the best advocate for others. She's a terrific friend and a 10 out of 10 human. Sydney, well, you're both named Sydney. Well, Sydney's a great advocate. Oh, yeah. Also, this is a good one to read. There's a fake Venmo account. Oh, Quinn, thanks for the $1 as well. Hi, Harry. How are you? I'm good, Quinn. I hope you're doing well. Sydney also says there's a fake Venmo account at Harry J. Sisson that is the same Harry J. Sisson that I've been sending money to with Rex for Sydney Allen, LMAO. I reported, but just an FYI. Yeah. So there are people that, just for everybody's knowledge, there's people on Venmo and Cash App that pretend to be me. There are people that pretend to be Parker, Dean, and Chris. So that when you look up them, their name comes up and then you might accidentally send money to them. So make sure that you don't do that. These people are very bad. They're obviously trying to steal money from people. It's like terrible. So the best way to like support me, Parker, Dean, or Chris is go through the Venmo link in our bio. So that does not happen to you. You know what I'm saying? I just want to make sure because I hate hearing stuff like that. I hate when I hear, anyway, you get the idea. I'm just want to make sure. It doesn't open the app. I don't know if there's a way to open the app. I don't know if there's a way for me to like improve that, but anyway, regardless, just want to let you guys know, you know what I mean? So anyway, listen, ladies, gents, boys and girls, everybody in between. Oh, also Harmony, thanks for the $2. What nights are you live? I always miss your lives. There's no like certain nights and not nights and not on other nights. I'm live like pretty much whenever, hopefully like every single night. There's a phone setting thing. Gotcha. Maybe I look into that a little bit. Anyway, Parker is live right now. He is at Parker Get a Job live on TikTok right now. So go support him. Go raid him. Go say Harry Raid, Harry Raid, Harry Raid. Fill the chat with Parker being live. Again, his username is at Parker Get a Job. This is his main account, the 1 million follower account. That's his main one. So he's live right now on the main account, not a backup one. It's at Parker Get a Job. So go raid Parker. Let him know that we appreciate him. Let him know that we care about him. Let him know that we appreciate the work that he's doing to advocate for the right causes. So anyway, yeah. All right, everybody. I appreciate you being here. Thanks so much, everybody. Have a great Wednesday. If it's Wednesday for you, have a great. People are saying he isn't. It's showing up for me that he is. Yeah, it's showing up for me that he's live. Maybe like go into his account. I don't know what's going on. It's showing for me that he's live. I obviously can't. He is. Okay, people are saying he is. He is. So yeah. Anyway. That was a. Sorry, I just got a message on. Oh, okay. I understand. Sorry, I got a crazy message on Venmo. I apologize. You read DMs? I do read some DMs. I see some DMs on Instagram. Not really TikTok so much because most of it's just like MAGA. But Instagram, I do. Snapchat, I definitely do. When people slide up on like stories on Snapchat, I definitely read those a lot. Aside from all that, anyway, sorry. Have a great rest of your night. Have a great morning, whatever time of day it is for you. I appreciate you. Make sure to follow on all the social media platforms on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Snapchat, TikTok, Facebook, Blue Sky, all of that good stuff. So make sure to do that. Of course, I appreciate you. And yeah, have a great day tomorrow. Happy holidays, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving. It's almost Thanksgiving. We're almost there. So enjoy. All right, everybody. I appreciate you, everyone. Have a good rest of your night. We'll talk soon, all right?